Hi everyone and welcome. You are watching the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition and this is going to, as always, seeing as we're here, Shav, the Intercontinental Combat section. So it's been already, this Pro Competition is in full swing. And as always, it is presented by PS4. PS4 Tournaments has been a really, really good system, I think, for the Mortal Kombat community. We've had the Pro Competition, which is now in full swing, but the Open Series, which has been going on for, believe it or not, about 9 months now on official broadcasts. Everything is done through the system, it's done through the PS4, and it literally could not be easier to jump into the world of competitive Mortal Kombat 11, especially in this forever ongoing online realm. You can see the link right there, compete.playstation.com. That is the competition center as a one-stop shop for both the Open Series and the Pro Competition that covers kind of a wide variety of different regions and sub-regions. But Shav, run me through what today's all about and up soon, the bracket for today's action.
Okay, Ketchup. Well, the first things first is we have a stacked bracket full of really strong competition from the eastern quadrant of the European region. We got a bunch of CIS players over here, and obviously we can see a couple Greek flags and a Turkish flag as well, representing their own nations too. The matches that we're going to have are going to be really, we're familiar with a lot of these players. Mercer we've seen in the Open Series countless times, along with Flet, Disarded. Val, we've seen in Pro Comp Online before. K-Top, a very familiar name over the years, and Nivek, Final Combat. But overall, there's quite. I would like to say people like Blood Eyes are very like dark horse players. They're very. They haven't quite had the spotlight, but I know that the caliber of play is very high. So, are there any particular matches that you're looking forward to the most over here, Ryan?
The last match that we're going to have in the losers round one, we can see Alexander versus Blood Eyes. I do know very little about Alexander, I will admit, and I think that's the case for a lot of people, it seems. We've been talking about this pre-show, but one name alone, Rambo, I think we're going to be seeing from him. But then Blood Eyes, as you said, a dark horse, really good Frost player, plays other characters too. I think Rain is another character that Blood Eyes has been playing. So we could have definitely a matchup that we don't see all that often down there. And look, I'm a sucker for different characters. I love it when people play these like lesser used characters. So having two of them go head to head is definitely something to expect. But K-Top, got to tell you, he's been on a recent tear because he just finished with, if memory serves, and although I'm a commentator, memory like a sieve, unfortunately, we did just have the monthly finals of January for the European Open Series. K-Top got top 3 in that tournament. And that was, without question, I think, his best showing so far in all of MK11. And never forget, when it comes to K-Top, this guy, his brother H-Dope, they had to miss out on the first year of Mortal Kombat 11. But they live in Greece. It's things completely out of their control. They weren't really able to play any video games for an entire year. And that just so happened to be the year MK11 launched. They were able to watch it and study it, but they had to play catch-up. And catch-up K-Top has, as now a top 8, another top 8. For the Greek is definitely interesting. And Mercer, a player that you can never count out. He has that very slippery scorpion, and man likes the Sin Blade.
He definitely does. And with these players like K-Top and stuff and H-Dub, obviously taking that time out and now coming back and kind of like catching up with everyone, so to speak, has been nothing short of impressive. And now we're starting to see the results pull through with that. Mercer, a very strong Scorpion player from Russia, and we've seen him kind of like, time and time again, known for the Passport Scorpion combat card as well, lest we forget. But either way, known for having, like you said, a very slippery style, a very, I'd like to say he plays quite high risk, high reward, but he likes to put a lot of thought behind his decision making. He's almost like I would like to say, him and Mirko have very similar styles, but they play like very nuanced versions of Scorpion.
Now, I gotta say, for sure, one thing about the way Mercer plays is he is not afraid to kind of play with his heart on his sleeve. He will go with the craziest reads and decisions, but it's kind of backed by fundamentals that are super solid as well. Like his flawless blocks are absolutely in the right place, and he has nice reactions and stuff like that. Great matchup knowledge. We can see here he has actually fully gone in for just Reborn, and what that essentially means is he's going up against Jackie. I think that air grab counter hit KB, like that is something that we could very well see once a game if Mercer's playing his cards right because of the leap Falcon. And let's go now, game 1.
Yeah, definitely. You know, a good option to stuff that. Just opting to go with a classic tournament variation. I mean, this is probably the one that we've seen him play the most as well over the course of time. A brilliant anti-air right there from K-Top, who has quite a dominant health lead and is setting up the damage over time in the corner.
But this is the nature of things. You know, Jackie's such an aggressive character. Mercer, to be fair, the 1 week, if memory serves, he has been a open series victor himself. And that week, right in the midst of upgraded Jackie before Ultimate running rampant in tournaments, he was able to take out every single one. So his matchup knowledge against Jackie is actually sublime. But you know, knowing how to fight this character is one part of the battle, being able to execute it against someone who's able to apply the layers that K-Top can. And K-Top, historically, one of the most aggressive players that we have in this side of the world for sure. I'm sure some of you remember him back in the Mortal Kombat X days, that Raiden, that run cancel in general. If the character had a run, and the run cancel, you know, K-Top's gonna main it, you know what I mean? So here we go. Round 1, already won by K-Top, and Mercer trying to fight back.
So Mercer over here, you know, he's just trying to fill him out right now. But K-Top, obviously, you know, the Greek scene is a set of very strong players, and you can tell that K-Top has him clearly. He's obviously probably playing a lot with his brother. Both players are exceptionally talented, but right now he seems to be applying just so much pressure and damage over time to Mercer that he can't really deal with it. But now he's trying to fight his way out.
Bit of a drop though, unfortunately. I'm sure it's a little bit trickier against those smaller hurtbox characters. A lot of the female characters in this game, they kind of have those, when we say smaller hurtbox, we basically mean it's kind of harder to hit them in certain situations. And you know, a lot of the male characters are a little bit larger, which basically means that combos are a bit more universal, right? Then you get large characters like Shao Kahn, Kotal Kahn, then it's a lot easier. But those like combos, I was going to go Scorpion combos, where he gets that kind of teleport, the forward 3, the kind of micro dash into 1-1. Mercer's really good with that, but he does tend to struggle a little bit when he fights Jackie with it, and I think it's because she's a bit shorter.
Yeah, you know, it's not just I feel like, yeah, the small hurtbox is a part of it, but there's also the fact that, like, Jackie's buttons can be, you know, there's the forward 3 you have to worry about. Essentially, it's like Mercer is near enough giving up his turn with every stagger, unless he makes the right call out. Whereas K-Top kind of has a bit more freedom in that sense, given the fact he has Leap and he's got Grenade Launcher, making it harder just generally to get, you know, for Mercer to try and just get him off him.
Round 1.
I mean, I think as well, a major thing that we need to talk about there is just the fact that Jackie, it's not so obvious, is it, when it is your turn to press? And that is the next layer. Something Mercer loves to do, the raw teleport to interrupt Shrapnel Blast, kind of trip guarding Jackie on the way down. K-Top goes for the double blast. He's going to get a full punish. Speaking of which, there's the 1-1, full combo again, and now we're getting the 1-1 into the big ender. 28%, not too shabby, and K-Top definitely expecting a forward 3 stagger there, eating the counter hit for breakfast, and a full combo in a good situation now. Oh, whipping the air grab. I wonder if we're going to see that air grab coming out eventually.
Things are really working out for Mercer right now, as he does have the health lead. He's going to have to watch out for that fatal blow, but one more hit, and he's pretty much going to guarantee the round over here. I'm not sure if this throw is going to kill, even with 950 HP. Didn't.
Oh, Mercer! Somehow, that was a very unusual situation. He goes for that kind of meaty jump and K-Top with the wake-up jump. It feels like Mercer had a million years to react to that jump in. He just mustn't have believed that was going to be enough.
Oh no! My goodness.
Oh, no,
well,
like this, Falcon.
Round 2.
K-Top definitely didn't want Mercer getting any kind of momentum in this set. He really just said to himself, alright, you know what, I'm gonna Hail Mary the rest of this because I have nothing to lose. It's like I'm gonna lose the round or I'm gonna win the round if I play it crazy. That's exactly what he did, and he has a huge head lead over here in the corner. 40% and still keeps the positioning.
Looking for the pressure in the corner. Flawless block and wake up just to shut down some of the chip. Looks for the pickup. Nice catch, but I like that he doesn't overcommit to the spear in that situation. So easy to fall out of the combo and then punish him for it. And the turnaround again. Forward throw. What's going to come from this?
Mercer right now, he's got a good confirm on the air-to-air right there. He gets the spear ender. Go for the meaty pressure. K-Top not biting right now.
And K-Top used his fatal blow already in the last round, so there's this kind of like major comeback factor. K-Top's going to kind of need both of his bars to kill right now, because that 30% before they can break only happens when she has the 2 shrapnel blasts. Just like that, Mercer able to get a game on the board. Very important here. You can't really let a character like Jackie start running away with all that momentum. There's that forward 3. The immediate confirm now. No meter to amplify it and go for the 2-1-2, so we're gonna have to leave it as is, but it doesn't matter, because here comes K-Top. Oh, guns blazing. And because that teleport cancel, Falcon,
sure.
no breaker.
I think that down 3 might have been an attempt to low profile the grenade launcher, but I'm not sure it works on that. It might work on shrapnel, but an interesting bit of tech right there. Either way, right now, K-Top has the back throw Oki to work with, has health lead as well to work with, just over 100. And Mercer trying to find the opening hit. He's been confirming hits very well, but right now just finding the hit seems to be the hard part.
That's a scary thing that you have to kind of accept here. You're in a position where Jackie hits that instant jump and then the shrapnel blast comes out. You just want to press, and that's the trap, right? That's the trick. Oh, by the way, that's it. Button, spear. We don't even need it, and we'll do Fatal Blow just for good measure, just to put a little bit of an exclamation point on the end of this match, I reckon. Oh yeah, you got it.
I mean, that spear is such a finicky thing to get hit by. I feel like it's one of those online special moves, where it's like it just kind of catches you, like moving or something like that. But that was a really well placed, just well timed spear in general for Mercer. Obviously, getting a huge reward, finding himself the game. But yeah, honestly, that kind of felt a bit more like he was fighting back. He was finding his own ground in that sense. It definitely wasn't as dominant as the game we saw before, even if he had lost that.
Now, as we go into our next matchup, the important thing for Mercer, just being able to stabilize, really. And it's being able to display kind of fearlessness. You know what I mean? It's really just, against Jackie, you can't really freeze up. You can't be a little bit too timid to fight back or press buttons. The big thing is interrupting. When she gets point blank and she starts to do the shrapnel blasts, she starts to spend different areas of meter. There is always mix-ups there. There's no kind of one-size-fits-all answer. But you've got to be prepared for it, and you've got to be prepared to react. And that's one thing Mercer will always do.
Yeah, for sure. But over here, it's really just kind of... We're at 1 game apiece right now. There's a good challenge from K-Top right here. Now, K-Top's been doing a lot of, just single buttons, and then he's just throwing out the pokes as well, but challenged straight away by the Amplified Teleport.
But it's really important to start things off now. K-Top able to definitely more than stabilize. And there's that just absolute classic trick once again, the jump into shrapnel blast. I want you to press, and Mercer says, nah, mate, I've seen that one before. Lovely! Classic Scorpion anti-air, to be honest. You jump in, I teleport, I get a full corner combo. And now look at the momentum from the Russian Scorpion Falcon. Looking well good.
Yeah, Mercer looking so much more on point. He's been getting so much mileage as well just from these teleports. These instant teleports have been blowing up K-Top's jumping a bit too much that round. And Mercer obviously taking full advantage of the situation right now, just not overcommitting to anything.
The cancel teleport keeping him safe from what would have been a devastating neutral jump punch, to be honest, especially with K-Top having 1 bar to work with there. And oh, you want to press a button? Eat this 1-1-B. Eat it. Oh, counter hit though. Now does Mercer break? Yes, he does. Saves a bunch of damage. 30% still good, though. One of the underrated parts of this variation of Jackie Falcon really is the fact that by the time you get to break, you've already taken about 30%. Speaking of break, nothing available for K-Top and a full combo now. Mercer, big damage. Oh, wow, instant jump in. All right, let's go.
We're seeing it again right here. He just knows that Mercer is going to try and go for a safe jump or something like that. And just kind of calling that out, but the bluff right there, the shimmy back, whip punish for the forward bump into the fatal blow, and that should be the round for K-Top right here.
And there's the round apiece. Close games here, really close in fact. And I gotta say, I haven't seen Mercer in the competitive space for a while. He normally was a regular attendee in the Open Series top 8. Oh, he's looking for the optimal punish on dash punch. Looking for that standing 4, but no one home. But we haven't seen this Open Series in some time.
It has been a little while. I wonder if he's been on a bit of maybe a competitive hiatus, or maybe just taking a bit of a break with the game in general. Right here, he's gonna get himself thrown into the corner. K-Top challenging the teleport a bit too obvious, saying that he doesn't want to stay in the corner. He's gonna try and just work his way out. And K-Top trying to find any advantage he can. Gonna have to deal with the forward throw Oki over here.
Oh, now, I've got to say, we haven't seen many back threes from Mercer, and that's pretty surprising because he is the back 3 master. Always knows when to use it, and I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been using it much in this set, but oh well! Here comes the jump in from K-Top, and that's going to be
all it
another
was
win here.
it was just one touch from K-Top into so much unbreakable damage. I mean, by the time that he broke, he'd already taken 38% of his life. So by that point, it was kind of just like a murder she wrote situation. But, you know, Mercer has been inching his way back, even in the games that, you know, now in this game that K-Top has won. It just seems like the damage over time, the general application, so like per successful hit, K-Top is getting a lot more reward out of it. And Mercer might be playing into his hands just a little bit too much with these kind of obvious teleports, but you know, thankfully K-Top's not getting much out of it.
Now, this is the next element. We haven't touched on this. So Mercer has always had a kind of pocket Cetrion before Ultimate, but it was mostly the Born Again we saw from Mercer when the chips were down. Obviously, Cetrion has a, you know, I think no pun intended, ultimate variation right now, which is this teleport, earthquake, and the winds. These combined makes anyone that could play Cetrion before just much better now. And it's a really good character to have in your back pocket. Clearly Mercer does, and he thinks it might give him a bit of an edge here in this matchup. We'll see if it pays off, Vulcan.
He's going to do what he's got to do. And right here, definitely a very strong Cetrion variation, but K-Top stealing a bit of a health lead right now. Finds another hit. The breaker not on the side of Mercer. He's going to take a lot of damage to get himself knocked down in the corner. 34% holding the plus frames. Tried to challenge. Not going to work out. And the overhead check. K-Top destroying him in that round. Flawless on Cetrion. It's not something you see on every day.
Absolute annihilation, Vulcan. And with it being match point now for K-Top, Jackie, it fits him like a glove because he has always been, like I said earlier today, one of the most aggressive players in the European community. And look, if you have that game plan from MKX and you play MK11, Jackie is a really good pick for that because she has the depth, the layers, the fact that she's always point blank right in your face. And the second you start adapting to one part of the game plan, you have options to change it up and keep that onslaught going, right? And not a lot of characters on offense have that kind of tool here, what Jackie does. It's a great pick for K-Top, but now, having to make a little bit of a comeback with that fatal blow in play, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, very true, but a clean anti-air gets the restand, not enough damage to kill though, unfortunately, but the down forward one going to close things out. Mercer tying up the rounds for himself, trying to stop K-Top from taking this set and advancing on in winners.
We get a good look at what's basically the top two of the tier list right now. I'll tell you what, there's an absolute fair argument for Jackie and Cetrion being the two best characters in the game. The order of which, I mean, that's entirely up to you, but Mercer going in with the Cetrion for the options, right? Having this kind of keep away tool when available. The wins to catch and to restand. Never forget it restands them. In fact, he amplified it. That's plus 10 on hit. So he's got plenty of options after it too. Now K-Top, flawless block on the jump in, but he has well over half of the work to do, and these down twos are working out wonders. K-Top, is this going to work out? The flawless block, that is completely messing up his jump in timing, and he gets the win. All right, game 5, let's go.
Mercer just honestly, he just kept catching K-Top being way too antsy right there. He was just being, you know, fishing for the hit a bit too hard, challenging in a lot of times where he was minus, and then there were points where he was just jumping a bit too sporadically. And I think it really all started from that one leap that got stuffed by the amplified deadly winds, and then from there it was really Mercer's round. But now we are tied to a piece.
Indeed. There were a few jump-ins there in the final round, wasn't there, where there was no up two or anything, but the flawless block to kind of mess with the frames of the jump-in. That's a situation where you jump in, you try and press a button. The second it gets flawless blocked, like nothing comes out, and you get totally kind of mixed up on your own offense. It's a really awkward situation to be in, isn't it?
You're really just mitigating the offense, like the offensive advantage of the Jackie player, aren't you? Or the aggressor in this context. But final game over here, I do think that was kind of like anyone's game, but at the end, Mercer just seemed like completely in control. So if we're not seeing K-Top kind of slow things down and be like maybe a bit less fidgety, a bit less antsy, then Mercer might just walk all over him.
Yep, K-Top can't get too frustrated here. Because Cetrion, she is a character that absolutely wants you to get frustrated. I'm pretty sure, though, the best Cetrion in this part of the world over tournaments, right? Astamata, K-Top, to get that top 3 finish in the latest monthly finals of Open Series, had to 3-0 Astamata in the losers bracket. So this is a matchup that he knows. It's just, you know, Mercer getting that win. But I'm not going to say that K-Top's going to get surprised by any of this because I'm sure he knows what's going on. And may this be the best man win of the game 5.
We will see. Now, we saw K-Top challenging a lot from the deadly wins earlier. Now, Mercer's been adapting by throwing out a lot more down ones to start checking and take advantage. But one successful touch from K-Top just deletes so much of that important life that you need to keep in check to keep the Jackie out, really, and just chip her down.
Oh yeah, and he's built one bar of offense. That's going to be a really good start. And this combo, not going to kill, and it's going to put Mercer into fatal blow territory. So although K-Top needs to get one, in theory, good press, that wouldn't have killed though.
That could have been it.
Yeah, he's fishing for it. You know Mercer wants it bad. And now it'll kill.
Yeah, once again, just teleporting himself out the corner, knowing that, you know, in that situation, it was chip death. Just play the rest of the screen, get yourself into a favorable position for the next round, because you still have that at least to work with. But the dash punch KB destroying the bridge of the nose of Cetrion. K-Top right now has used that. He still has a 3-3 KB as well, but Mercer just trying to keep him out. Really well placed lead.
That punished as well. Threading the needle in between Earthquake and really punishing Mercer, who is in a really not so good situation. Was back to the corner, now put straight back in there. The damage over time is constantly adding up, as is the chip of this relentless offensive Jackie. And with the way things are going, K-Top looking like he's going to take it, and he will. So it's K-Top with a winners finals. Minimum top 3 finish here for the Greek player, who has had quite a return, Falcon. Like I said, this guy had to take a whole year out of the first year of MK, coming back in with a good set of characters. You know, he plays the Fujin, he plays Jackie, he plays Jade, and the Jackie definitely putting in the most work for him. Well done.
Yeah. Honestly, just like we've seen pretty much over the years with K-Top, very, very aggressive gameplay. We're seeing a lot of challenging, a lot of jumping, a lot of different. But the thing is, you know, strangely enough, it oddly reminds me a bit of how Tekken Master was playing Jackie at WePlay, of just kind of staying in the air or staying in a you know, kind of acknowledging the fact that if you have like minor plus frames at a range, I'm going to challenge you because you're going to try and use those to close the space. You're going to try and press your advantage in any way. And he was kind of calling Mercer's decision making a lot of the time in that set, and at the end that was just pure overwhelming offense. Really, it just seemed like, you know, being Mercer in that situation seemed really tough.
So our next matchup, which I'm really excited for always, is an opportunity to see Flet versus Desarted. These are two players that, if you do watch the Open Series, you are more than familiar with these two fine gentlemen, but also that Desarted is of the newer generation. Believe it or not, this is actually Desarted's first Mortal Kombat as well, I'm pretty sure. This was either Desarted's first Mortal Kombat or it was his first competitive game. So there's a lot of different crazy things to get involved in, I think, in such a short space of time. But Falcon, what we're doing right now is the intercontinental combat portion of what is the overarching pro competition. You can see on your screens right now the sub-regions between Liga Latina, North American League, and Intercontinental. So, for example, we're doing the Europe East right now. After this top 8, we'll be taking a bit of a break and jumping into Europe West to finish the day's action. And all the instructions that you could need really can be found in this graphic. And if you are one of these regions or sub-regions, get involved. You go to compete.playstation.com. You can compete with the best players in the world, and it gets you a great opportunity to just grow as a player.
Yeah, definitely. Great experience, and obviously free to enter and completely accessible by pretty much anyone from the comfort of their own home using the console that they play on. So really, it's just a great way because obviously, you know, there's kind of only something to gain from this respect. I mean, both these players we've been seeing in the online environments, Flet from before in previous NRS titles, Desarted mainly making a name for himself in this game because, as mentioned before, his first Mortal Kombat game. And he's been showing time and time again that he's been progressively leveling up. We saw him do Destruction last time we were here in the IKK for EU East. But we never saw this matchup in particular. I think this is the first time we're seeing... we didn't see Flet last week, is what I mean to say. Catch up. Rocking the best Sub-Zero skin, as we see.
Like your
but Flet has been rocking a lot of Sub-Zero since Ultimate. Likes to use the Rising Ice and the Shang Tsung. For those that haven't seen Desarted before, this guy is not your kind of conventional Shang Tsung. He doesn't really like using the ground eruption. No, he's entirely built and based around that kind of brawl style of Shang Tsung. Speaking of which, the Ermac lift, his miracle move. This is without question his favorite ability that Shang Tsung has. And he's a jumper. He's a confessed. I jump around a lot because he's got the option selective Ermac. And he's very frustrating to deal with, and he has a lot of success.
It's very true. You know, this variation specifically is just good for how Disarded wants to play Mortal Kombat. It basically just enables him to highlight his strengths a lot better. Flet, with a few unconventional approaches to his offense, finds the forward 2 into the ice ball, and it end with the 5-1 restand, just pressing a lot of buttons right here, staggering on Disarded.
There's the down 4. He's really fishing for it. Wait a minute. He's got fatal blow. Oh, and he's dead for
sure. Oh, no. Yep, Ketchup broke.
Away. He did.
He got really greedy during that. I'm not sure. That was pretty much a guaranteed fatal blow over there. I think Disarded would have been a fool if he hadn't spent it. But right there, maximizing his reward and getting the round for himself with only 1 health.
What a turnaround. Now, I think the names might be the wrong way around, though.
Yeah, they are. I just realized
they just won the game. Flet doesn't play Shang Tsung, let me tell you. But now, a full combo again. And this time, hey, there we go. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. But now we go in, plus frames established, and the backup. Now, this is the next layer. You block that forward 2, 4-2 outside of the corner. A lot of players, there is that kind of guessing game of what comes after it, because it's not always guaranteed to be Shang Tsung's option. Back up and whiff punish him.
Just part of the layers. Disarded definitely didn't believe that jump in to connect, but speaking of jump ins, one right there for himself, gets the first game. Flet seemed a little bit, I want to say, disoriented during that game. It seemed like he had, you know, a good start in the beginning, but he had his breakaway blown up by the fatal blow, and then after that, couldn't stop Disarded or really just get him off him.
Flet can often in tournament be a bit of a slow starter. That's one of the things, that his fundamentals are through the roof. It's why Johnny Cage in particular has been a really good pick for him for so long. But he does kind of tend to have those first few games where it just takes him a little bit of time to get that gear rolling, you know. But once he's there, he's well on his way. And he has been playing, like I said, a lot of Sub-Zero. The Rising Ice is a big part of his game plan too. It has been, usually anyway. The Rising Ice for the giant damage payout, the Deep Freeze, just making a lot of difference anyway. Let's take a look at his Sub-Zero variation. He still has got Deep Freeze and Rising Ice. He doesn't really care so much about the safety of Creeping Ice. He wants combos, he wants damage, and he wants that classic Sub-Zero MK11 mix.
Well, I suppose you can just, you could argue that forward 2 is just safe as a stagger alone, and then just forward 2 Rising Ice is just, you know, taking the risk anyway for the max damage cash out. It really favors the damage over here. So, finding that first hit, confirming right here into the Ice Ball, we should maybe see a fair bit of damage. And we dropped it a little bit early, didn't believe in the final hit.
Speaking of, another combo drop. This is really unfortunate for Flet. Oh god, the wake up uppercut. And this is going to be big damage. When you've got Ermac and a down 2, you're looking at 40% for that crushing blow. The back 1 stagger. Oh dear, that's another confirming. And really, yeah, Flet can't do much about that. The standing 1, the check, and now the corpse drop. So good. And Disarded able to get another round on the board. His style of Shang Tsung can be very overwhelming. He always seems to jump at just the right time. And even then, just his whiff punishes of Ermac lift, whatever it is, so insane. And there it is, that jump kick option select, I tell you, every time he's going to do that.
Yeah, definitely getting so much mileage off of the jump kicks. And now that he's been getting so much reward off of the jump kicks, you can see him starting to use jump punches as well, because he knows Flet's starting to respect the jump-ins. And he's trying to just, you know, apply the pressure, really. Flet seems to have a hard time of just keeping him grounded, but that was a poor dial-in right there. Didn't want to go for the confirm, didn't believe in it. And right there, wake up Ice Ball.
Ice Ball? I mean, surely he's getting some Emperor's Jab, surely.
I think so. I mean, I can't understand, because Zoop doesn't have a forward 1, so I'm confused. Again, just committing.
Well, Flet. It's not his day so far, Falcon. It really, really isn't. Everything is falling to pieces. Hopefully, he can get it together. Because he has got the safety of winner's bracket. Let's not forget. He is one of our 4 players that was here from winners, so he will be playing a little bit later on. But a couple of things I want to cover. Because I've always got one eye on the chat room, and I do see people saying about mentioning some of the combos. that we're seeing from Desarted. With this specific variation that Desarted has, it really is optimal to go for the down 2 ender with Ermac Lift. Just a lot of the Shang Tsung moves that he's got is best for damage to end an uppercut. It looks a bit ugly, granted, but it is ideal. It gives you the biggest amount of damage, and the kind of anti-break meta as well makes the damage completely guaranteed. Additionally, the variation he's taken, I like watching this with Desarted now, Falcon, because he used to play Soul Eater. He was a Soul Eater specialist.
Yeah.
And now he's given himself the 3 morphs he wants, and he leaves out the super kicks. He doesn't want it, doesn't really need it. And in doing this, he keeps the corpse drop, which is really, really important for the full screen game. So this is basically Desarted Plus in Ultimate.
Yeah, he's essentially just got a more refined version of the variation that he once was playing. And right there, a huge OS as well. That micro dash, stand 1 into the down 2, optimal damage off the Ermac Lift. But yeah, keeping the corpse drop is super important in the neutral. High damaging overhead, and just having that in the arsenal is super useful. I think the rain trade-off of the super kick is honestly worth it. Depending on who you ask.
That standing 3 whiff punish again, crispy as always. And even if they break, he's just looking for it. And that back one mix, no mix needed.
He's like one of the best players I see at using some of these tools that Shang has. I've never seen a Shang confirm, or rather land as many jump kicks into the OS Ermac Lift as much as Desarted at this point. I think this is special. And using stand 3
Asking you shall receive. Asking you shall receive, Falcon. That's all that one is. Now Desarted the forward throw. Less for the damage. He doesn't even need the heals at this point. And for Flet, oh good lord. If he gets hit in the corner now, he is done. Oh dear. Wait a minute. Now he's going to survive barely. But barely. The forward 2.
Okay.
Right.
This is potential.
For his life.
Oh. I feel like if I were Flet, would it not have been the right call to just constantly go for the resets and then end in the fatal blow? Because he might be in a bit of a sticky situation here. He's taking some damage, but now he's just choosing to play too respectfully.
That was, I think, Falcon, one of the most disastrous sets that Flet has ever had in Mortal Kombat 11. Just nothing worked out. I don't know whether he was flustered, maybe he was frustrated perhaps, but the missed confirms, the dropped combos, the complete input errors, like Wake Up Ice Ball the last game before it, and now, even the questionable decision to go straight into the fatal blow. With other characters that have like slow fatal blows, maybe that's a way to get some momentum, but with Sub-Zero, he wants to keep that kind of restand situation and mix, fatal blow ends the round. Nothing really worked out, and Desarted was playing the way we know, and that's a bad combination if you're Flet. No wonder a 3-0 happened there, but hopefully he can pick it up in losers.
I think so too, and it wouldn't surprise me if we're seeing him kind of like opt for a more comfortable pick, maybe playing Johnny a bit more. To be honest, I can understand why you would want to play Sub-Zero against Shang. I know that he has been putting time into Sub-Zero, but I can't really imagine that being too fun had you have been Johnny anyway. It kind of feels like you may be able to get a bit more reward out of playing a high octane, high damaging Sub-Zero variation. But we are going to see him in losers. That isn't the end of the road for Flet this week, but Desarted is going to be sitting comfortably in winners finals to take on K-Top later on.
So if I'm correct, we should be jumping into our next round of losers up next, which gives us Nivek versus Val, which is going to be a real interesting one. And then we have the Blood Eyes versus Alexander, which I'm really, really, really excited to see how that one goes for the characters that we're going to see. But then Nivek and Val is going to be our next matchup. On that note, Falcon, before we set this one up, run us through one of the main partners here for Pro Competition, Astro.
That I shall catch up. The official audio partner, Astro Gaming. Want to give a huge shout out and thanks to Astro, the official audio partner of the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition. All the caster audio is provided by Astro for the entirety of the season. Please visit astrogaming.com to find out more information on all their officially licensed PlayStation audio products available now.
So, Nivek and Val. Nivek is a player that has been there, done that in the competitive space of Mortal Kombat across many years. I mean, we're nearly in spring now, for crying out loud. We're dawning on the 10th anniversary of Mortal Kombat 9, which was Nivek's first dive into competitive Mortal Kombat, like many of us, myself included. And that with it brings so much experience. If in Nivek's shoes, he never stopped competing, and that's a dangerous combo.
And not just that, but his high-level expertise in various different titles as well. You know, with fighting games, he has a lot of tournament experience. I want to say, not just with NRS games, but generally speaking, competitively in his competitive gaming career over the course of time, he has a lot of experience in kind of just dealing with various different opponents in various different ways. I've seen him come over to the UK to win games in a different fighter and stuff like that against solid, really strong high-level UK competition. And obviously, we've seen him, you know, completely turn things around with a very surprising, I want to say, upset at DreamHack last time with IKK to make it into Final Combat.
Oh yeah, because he was bottom seed of that tournament. He really, really, really was. Now, one thing that's definitely different here is that he has been playing Sub-Zero. We knew him as Jackie for a very long time, but he has been playing a bit more Sub-Zero recently. For, you know, Sub-Zero, very, very powerful in the Ultimate era because of his different customs you can take. And Val, we haven't touched on too much, but fantastic Sindel player who won the first of the Intercontinental qualifiers, in fact. Haven't seen him too much since then, but I mean, a real master of the character, I think. A lot of different variations covered.
Now, this is going to be a very, like, a matchup that seems to be dictated by how much bar Nivek has with that scream, chewing through the ice ball. Val going to cash out into big damage here, goes for the cancel at the end. Nivek getting shimmied by that forward four.
And that low star screamer going to be really useful. I mean, the deep freeze able to crush a lot of things, but oh my god, Nivek just lets it rip. Surely not again.
I highly respect the
star screamer.
Yeah, exactly. The threat of the Star Screamer is so, you know, ever looming that I'm surprised he's doing it, but I think he's baiting Val right now with his movements, trying to get him to use the bar. Right now he's not overcommitting, might go for an empty jump slide.
That was good. I like that. Wait for the jump in. One hit of last breath is left. That forward four is going to crush it. Guaranteed. And here comes Val with one round on the board. Now, I don't really know what shape Nivek's Sub-Zero is kind of shaping up to be. So, on paper, I'd actually give the advantage here to Val. I think Val has a really good chance, and the count has a stun. Here we go. Bam!
Big damage. 335 right now, getting his back off some space. Good block. Middle by Nivek as well. One in that corner position.
Being spent. Anti-air Star Screamer. What is this? MK9. Oh no, the active frames. She's in the air, so we can't grab her. And the forward two already prepared. And there's a 1-1-2 knockdown. Val so close to getting this, but can Nivek make this freeze? Oh, he didn't believe.
Oh my goodness.
No, the drop. Oh.
Back one. I think maybe he had the right idea, but maybe just not fast enough. I'm not even sure if that was the right normal. Val seeing that he was in recovery, using the up three to close out the game for himself. Now, something I really liked that Val did over there was that he wasn't overextending when he had the significant health lead. After Nivek kind of, you know, did a Hail Mary 4-2 into slide for the corner, and potentially for the KB over there, the moment Val blocked that, it was really like he had so much of a health lead that he was just waiting for Nivek to do things. You know, the EX Ice Ball wasn't threatening because he had no intention of throwing Star Screamer, and he just kind of waited. And Nivek obviously was trying to kind of commit to a bit more, trying to stagger on him, trying to get in his head a little bit to try and steal the round away, but didn't quite work out for him.
Now, he's definitely checking his controls because I highly doubt he's going to pick Robocop. I've never seen him pick Robocop, although part of me would like to see it. He has the Sector, not Sector.
1050 HP, baby.
You know, I had loads of people tell me, you know, why don't you play that Robocop? I'm like, because he's not Sector. He looks like him, but he's not. Sector doesn't do those things.
He's a phony.
He is his own legendary character, is Robocop. It's still kind of weird even talking about that. Now, Golkan, there's one thing about the character which we need to mention is that the recent patch, I kind of considered it more of a hotfix than a patch because there really weren't many changes. In those changes, though, Golkan, 1050 health, down from 1100, and then also he has no restrictions on his totem combinations. Now, I don't think players are really using it much because the totems that have become more available, they are the ones with the slower startup, but it's a thing now, so maybe one day we'll see it.
Now, something I really want to touch on is the fact that I know Nivek and Quark are friends, and Quark has a very, very good Kodokan. I wonder if potentially there might have been a bit, you know, a bit of guidance in learning the character and finding an efficient way to play him very well. because I haven't personally seen Nivek play Kotal before.
I've seen it once, and it wasn't too bad. It was definitely still, though, I think, a diamond in the rough. It was a work in progress. Now, one thing you're always going to have is that burst damage. The knockdown into the damage totem. We're seeing a very conventional Kotal Khan, and he lets the unsafe flow rip. There's the armor break, though. Oh, God. You're put back into the corner, and your meter's gone for the breakaway. Thanks very much for that, mate. There's confirmed, though. Can't cut. And a full combo. Doesn't want to overcomplicate. We're just going to get that forward one.
Nice.
The damage alone, so good. Oh!
Just from that confirm, he's going to find the ending damage right there. He's going to get the round for himself. Now, Nivek, you know, playing I want to say this variation is, it seems quite fine-tuned for how Nivek wants to play. I'm surprised he didn't opt for the Jaguar, but I guess he's just comfortable playing around, you know, forward 2, command grab, and Kotal's general movement and pokes.
And Nivek definitely strikes me as a player that doesn't really play multiple variations of the character. He'll play a character, have that variation, and that will be part of the team. I don't think he plays... I've never seen him play other variations of Kotal since Ultimate, unless this one. No, he's looking for it. Ooh, that is so smart. Nivek takes the scream, knowing it's out of range, just to heal. And now, in the Sunray, looking good. Channeling his inner Mads in right there. And oh my good God, did you see that buffer?
That was an insane call out right there from Val, who has a big health lead over here. He has the corner as well. Nivek getting shimmied by all these forward 4s. And eats the overhead at the end. That short hop doing wonders. Val tying the rounds up.
Looking for the counter hit as always. That meaty scream from a safe range. The forward 4 into the forward throw. Looking good for Val, who just is so insanely efficient with Sindel. Oh, he just wanted the immediate down 2. Oh, but the 1-1 breaks the up 2. Wow.
You could tell Nivek was fishing for the trade combo.
Yeah.
Not enough to punish, but the big neutral jump right here. Val doesn't have the bar to break, only just built it back. Sure, Nivek is going to spend the bar over here, going to toss him towards the corner. Just choosing to respect the Air Banshee. I like it, just not overcommitting to any of the offense. Just play the space, you have the health lead.
But pick up. I'll break. Oh. We are in a scary position now. Fatal blow.
We are. Kotal can delete your health bar in just a couple touches, but Val right now also has the ability to chip him out. You have to be real careful.
Oh, especially now.
Ooh.
Oh, Banshee dash. Instant air Banshee dash. It's not an easy input, to be honest with you, but it is that the kind of almost mid-nature. You get it low enough to the ground, it just shuts down so much of the screen space. And let's not forget, you know, I mentioned those kind of different hurt boxes at the start of the day. Kotal Khan has one of the bigger ones. He's a tall lad.
Yeah.
So in that kind of situation, it's going to be very hard for him to bypass that air dash, really.
It is, you know, definitely like Val is using it to check him. Obviously, the reward that you're going to get on it is so huge. And he knows that Nivek isn't able to consistently punish him on it. I think he maybe got one punish on the Air Banshee, and that was it for the entire game. So there wasn't really anything stopping him from just using it again. And over there, it was perfectly spaced. I honestly thought Nivek might have clipped the forward 2 at max range, but Val, you know, just about surviving by a hair, really. It was just outside of range, and the Banshee clipped Nivek. But now he's got a nice 2-0 lead on Nivek. And we are seeing Nivek stick with Kotal Khan as well. And I think that might be the right call, to be honest, Ketchup, because he played that last match pretty well. I would like to just think that he just got kind of bullied by Val in some respects.
Yeah, and that's just a big part of that is Val knowing the matchup pretty well, knowing his enemy, and knowing that Nivek is a very respectful opponent. So a lot of these, the back 2, just that range. And that's going to allow some good damage to start with. Doesn't quite get the neutral jump in there. The raw command grab. This is an element that we haven't seen so far. A lot of the Kotal Khan from Nivek so far has been whip punishes, jump-ins. There hasn't been much mix-up up close established yet. Kind of using Kotal as more of a striker than a grappler.
Yeah, definitely. He's playing a very fundamental Kotal, as opposed to, you know, just going towards the best options. Now we've got a nice big well from that damage cash all of it.
We talk about that low profile though. Going directly under the dash, that's an answer to it. You're a big dude, just get your legs down there and then you'll be fine. Crouch right under it, and actually, with the way things are going right now, should be good to take this round. Maybe I spoke too soon. Val gets a knockdown on the fatal blow, ready. And he spend it.
We'll have to see what Nivek's answer is over here.
Oh. Okay.
Round 2, fight.
I like the
Nivek now, he's looking... Yeah, definitely. I think that Valve's been pressing a lot of preemptive buttons in general because he knows that Nivek is trying to approach him in a lot of situations. And they've been working out very well for him, but right there, the roll, straight through, gonna get the nice ground bounce property. The gravity does not get affected in that KB. Alright, gonna keep the corner positioning, big damage, and doing straight through the up 3.
And there's more damage on the way, Falcon, because we hit another command grab from Val. Looks for the tick. Hang on a minute. That down 1 on hit, making the tick grab whiff. This is an opening. It's a really small one, but it's a possibility. What's it gonna be?
That it is. Oh my goodness. He broke.
Oh, he hit the launch, and he armor breaks Falcon. He's not gonna kill him this, but he's now gonna be 1 sequence away.
That was the max damage Val could have gotten in that situation, I think. That worked perfectly for him. Oh my god! Oh, we're seeing it now.
Channeling his Mr. Aquaman, I see. No offense, Ryan, I love you. As we now go into this next game. 2-1. The wake-up fatal blow. In the midst of all that, the last thing I expected. And from Nivek, who is not a very wake-up fatal blow happy player. I was just talking about how respectful this guy is. And then my man presses his triggers fresh off of
read. Seen one. That was a big read. I think he might have read, like, in that situation. And I'm surprised he kind of let it rip straight away very nonchalantly after taking, like, 47% for making a bad call. It was like he made 2 risky decisions back-to-back, but the second one worked out for him and he won the game.
But what does this mean? Val needs to keep things together. That can be probably a frustrating way to lose the game. You know, you're so close to being able to take it convincingly, and then here comes Nivek with a wake-up fatal blow. I mean, wake up super in any capacity. I mean, how long has that existed in every
since the dawn of fighting games?
As long as there has been a super of some sort, it has been a thing for sure. MK11 is definitely no standout in that respect, but having that kind of play, being able to do it and just go, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and it worked out. I think honestly, if we saw things like X-rays be more, I think, practical in like MK9 and MKX, we would see them on Wake Up as well. You know what I mean? It's just that you never used X-ray in those games because meter was too important on other things. It was just a waste, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
Now we have
the only character that
use every time.
It was pretty much just Piercing Melina that was able to just use it like all the time because you're just building bar by her game plan. But back to this match, Nivek obviously setting out the sun map. Yeah. And we got, you know, Nivek setting out the sunlight right now, just building up a lot of damage as he can, trying to soak up those low star screamers. He's got 2 damage totems on the table as well. 1 successful hit's gonna hurt. I mean, that disc alone did a fair chunk of damage. It was a big touch right there in Val, getting a nice cash out for 23% in the corner.
Looking for the stagger game now. Nivek just trying an opportunity to find his way out. Forward 1, an interruption, down 4, anti-air. That is what Val was looking for and ready for. Just like that, match point. The Sindel Master, really proving why Val, such an expert of this character. As long as I've seen Val, I've seen Sindel. And even before, we've seen Val use, before Ultimate, all 3 variations competitively. And now being able to kind of pick and choose just gives you the best of all of the different realms. Here comes the knockdown, corner pressure, belonging. Really trying to beat a wake-up roll, I think that one was, but saving the meter.
Val really just trying to fish for that hit as well, trying to get a big chunk of damage. But speaking of damage, Nivek got the breakaway. He did have the damage buffs. Obviously, Val, you know, not wanting to eat any more of that damage for free. Right here, trying to find the EX Scream. He's sitting on no bars right now. If Nivek can find an opening hit, it's gonna hurt.
More low profile, but there is what is basically a rather simple option select. You do that air banshee dash on block, no amp comes out, and on hit it does. If you just buffer amp every time it comes out, there's the short hop, and Val with the swift turnaround afterwards. I'll talk about that tech a little bit later because Val will get the 3-1 victory here on Nivek, and that's a bit of a freeze frame just to end things. And there's the win pose, the Sindel, Val. And he's just so good with the character, man. I really do think that he's one of the strongest Sindels out there right now, for sure.
She can be a very frustrating character to be on the receiving end of, and he's doing a good job of making those frustrations that much more, prominent, that visible. That it seems like for the most part, Nivek was really playing. He was just chasing him down a lot of the time, but Val doesn't really need to do the same thing. He's going to sit back. He's going to use low star screamer. He's going to check you spacing with forward 4 up 3, and then it's really just about that. A lot of just back 2s thrown in there, 1-1s to challenge things like the forward 2 and the advancement from Nivek. It seemed like Nivek was really starting to kind of like bring that around in this game, but he couldn't quite establish enough for Val to start respecting him enough.
And Val has always been a real scientist, I think. A real scientist of the character, and continuing to be at this point. But while we get into our next matchup, I'd like to remind everyone what this all is and why, if you look at the top, presented by PS4 is here in the first place. The PS4 tournaments is not only the Pro Competition, but the Open Series, which is 4 weekly tournaments for EU and North America, and then a monthly finals at the end of the month. It's all done through the system. It couldn't be easier to play your friends and your rivals and people that you've never fought before in the online tournament system. You can go compete.playstation.com, get involved in the Open Series, get involved in the Pro Competition. It's been going on for a long time now, the Open Series. I think we started them last June, if memory serves. So it's about 8 or 9 months, right? And they're still going. The Open Series, we said a few days ago, they will be continuing all the way through February as well, at least. So February has another good quality month of action, and it's weekly prize pots too. Now let's talk about this matchup, folks.
Oh, yes.
Rambo from Alexander and Blood Eyes with probably Frost. I'm excited. Never seen this matchup in my life, by the way.
So Alexander is, playing Rambo. I think this was pretty much to be expected. I did a little cheeky visit of their ESL profile earlier because honestly, I didn't really know anything about this player, and I was trying to get any little bit of information that I could. The profile picture was Rambo. I think it was kind of obvious from that point that they were, going to be playing Rambo. And to be honest, maybe I want to give like a mild benefit of the doubt that this person just didn't really care enough about a character or to compete until they had a character that they liked, and maybe Rambo was that character. But you don't see a lot of representation for Rambo. There's very few people out there that actively play this character, so this is a very hard thing to call. Snare Trap obviously being a good tool and applicable with a lot of utility in certain situations, but known to have some whiffing issues that are quite prominent. And Shoulder Roll, he's going to be rocking with that we saw Gur using at We Play. And Blood Eyes rocking the Frost that we're familiar with him playing. We can see it play a few other characters as well. Right there, the roll doing some wonders.
So Rambo, a character that is covered in flawless blockable gaps, but you need to know the matchup to really make it work. So how prepared is Blood Eyes for Rambo? That begs the question. That full screen projectile absolutely gonna go underneath Frost's cannons. So I think that's gonna be a pretty important part of the matchup at the ranged game. The patience being demonstrated. There's the roll, just try and get out of the corner. Blood Eyes able to get the knockdown. If you've seen Blood Eyes before, you know this guy is a scientist of Frost in his own right. So expect to see some pretty insane stuff here. There's the launch counter hit. And no breaker available. One thing about that roll, defensive meter intensive. Drops the combo though, does Blood Eyes. An opportunity now for Rambo plus. And that's
and I like I actually like this because so you have the little the leg sweep to check people, a very good counter zoning tool. Blood Eye is going to cash out in big damage over here, but Rambo obviously his arrows being able to kind of blow up Icequake in a way. But he seems to have the right tools to be able to deal with Frost's space control. But Blood Eyes was cashing out in damage just a lot more. That 1 KB earlier with the right positioning and stuff. There's a few hits from Alexander, but they're not really amounting to much.
Oh, the roll cancel has been a real benefit here, but again, it's very meter intensive. So Frost, she definitely has rather high damage output, especially in this variation with the Augur. The counter hit launch, granted, was used, but you need to be very, very careful of not getting clipped. But I am liking how Alexander is approaching this so far, that mobility of the roll. The arrows, underrated is that they're actually very hard to see on certain stages.
Definitely, but a good read. Yeah, not going to work out. No bar to break any of this damage. Blood Eyes cashing out on big damage right there. Plus frames, tries to challenge, not going to work out. That back 1-2 chewing straight through it, and Blood Eyes getting the first game on the board for himself.
Now, not a bad effort there from Alexander, to be honest, but just getting clipped, right? Getting completely caught in the middle. Like, I like the way he's approaching the neutral. It doesn't seem like he's, I think, happy to be too defensive or slow-paced. He's trying to overwhelm with the pressure. Problem is, and we are starting to see it, it's costing a lot of meter. It's kind of comparable to Scorpions or Raidens that use a lot of teleports that cancel or whatever.
Yeah.
The more you're spending defensive bar, not getting damage and then getting hit yourself, that's where things get tricky because you can't break any of the damage. And Frost, she hits really hard.
So there's a key thing that I wanted to point out. Now with Raiden, obviously, you have Storm Cell, Scorpion, you have Teleport. Now with Rambo, I didn't really see him use the Snare Trap enough, and it is a 2-slot move, so it'd be cool to see him maybe just trying to use that one a little bit more after Blood Eyes took the first game. And yeah, but potentially just seeing that Snare Trap just being used a little bit more, maybe just trying to confirm into it, because he was getting some like hits, but he was confirming into the amplified roll. He wasn't getting enough damage per, resource spent.
I think already trying to go underneath. There's the roll being spent here, and the flawless blocks coming out already, so Blood Eyes demonstrating a bit more of that matchup knowledge, but there's the confirm and the Snare Trap. We finally get to see things opening up here, an opportunity. Really respectable damage here from Rambo, who also has some rather unconventional crushing blow requirements. And he's just this very tricky character. However, Blood Eyes not going to worry about it too much as the pushing in is good. Knockdown and back in to try and shut down some of that ranged game. Oh, goes for the down one after the dive bomb.
Oh, I like that. That was a really interesting trade choice right there, but the back 2-2 sifting its way through the back 3-3 from Rambo. Blood Eyes gets the round for himself and has a great position to work with on the screen as well. We might be seeing an amplified roll straight away. Gets destroyed by the Ice Quake.
But let's look at this matchup, right? We're looking at this matchup on paper. Rambo doesn't have the greatest range tools against characters that have amazing ranged options themselves. I see Frost being quite the bully from jump distance. And when Rambo gets close range, he's a bit of a threat. He can confirm no Snare Trap, but he is going to finally be able to spend it here. Oh, the combo drop, but never mind. Accidental reset. The flawless block and wake up Blood Eyes is going to catch. I'm just talking about the fact that at most ranges, I think Blood Eyes is the one that's going to be in the advantage. And then it's only point blank, which is kind of easy for him to shut down, perhaps. But that's to confirm. Wait, fatal blow.
Oh, it didn't work.
Oh, no.
Maybe that only works against the breakaway. He must have made a hard read or something. But right there, yeah, that was a really unfortunate combo drop as Blood Eyes takes the second game. We did see him start confirming into Snare Trap and stuff, which is great as we started to see Rambo start, cashing out on some of this damage and make these successful hits worthwhile. But Blood Eyes, holding down the fort consistency has triumphed in this game right here, as Alexander is now down to his last potential attempt to really keep himself in the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, there is a theory that, but I mean, again, I am just kind of coming up with it as theory here. I don't play Rambo extensively, and he's not a character you see every day, but that one combo, the gravity was so late that it did kind of seem like maybe it would only work if the breakaway happens. It's just so late on in the combo. I think you might be onto something there. Either way, it could have just been a tragic combo drop, but whatever's going on, Alexander, this is his last lifeline. We're in loser's bracket now, folks. If he loses this, we're out. No more Rambo. New variation. We have the Fubar, Leopard Cruel, and Claymore. Okay. This is completely different.
This sounds interesting. Yeah, he's completely different, yeah. So he doesn't have the roll, he doesn't have the Snare Trap. He's rocking with the command grab. The Leopard Crawl, for those of you unaware, is literally just the crawl, quite self-explanatory, of Rambo, where he is just low to the ground, but he gets a few different options out of it. And the Claymore, is slow to start up, but has a lot of applicable utility. If you can get it right just like there...
If he's at full screen, he's probably going to want to put that Claymore down. It's going to shut down the dive bomb. A lot of these advances. There's the Leopard Crawl. Okay, we're starting to change. And then confirm again. But without the Snare Trap, you're not going to be able to confirm into too much. As we go back into full screen, Blood Eyes establishing a bit of a cute projectile here. Got to watch out for that low. And there's the dive bomb.
Oh, my goodness. Double down 2, gets 30%. Bad read on the breakaway. But right here, Alexander, is he going to spend it? Yeah, wise to it. So something that happened, in that last round, I saw Alexander try to throw down a Claymore when Frost did back forward 3. Now, I don't know if that was a reaction, if that was intentional or anything, but I wonder if you can low profile the first shots whilst blocking the rest. and actually set down the Claymore. I wonder if that was intentional.
But there's that mix-up game really on his own offense when Blood Eyes uses a really low to the ground dive bomb. It's not really punishable. It creates this tricky mix-up where you try and grab him. He can neutral dug. You try and press a button. He can maybe answer back, whatever the case is. But unfortunately, this range game continuing to belong to Blood Eyes. Now, that's a bit of a trade to play the Claymore. It's in play, but what's it going to do? Detonates over time anyway. Not able to establish, looking for the leopard crawl. The big thing here, Blood Eyes has just been able to more than prevent that point-blank situation for Rambo. Just hasn't been able to get in and establish anything. Claymore, watch out! He got knocked into his own Claymore. He got comboed into his own Claymore! No! Rambo,
should have been running Sit Rep Pro, man. Oh, dude.
Oh, no. Falcon, he got comboed into his own Claymore, and then she ice skates on you? How rude is that?
Imagine if the other Claymore from before just set off while she was ice skating. What a tragic end.
Oh.
No, that was I guess kind of the double-edged sword nature of running Claymore, really, right? You concealed it, but then the moment that you overcommitted to the arrows, the smoke bomb zooped you right in, and then you got friendly fired by your own Claymore, which is really sad. But Blood Eyes, definitely showing off a very impressive Frost as he progresses through into the loser's bracket, and
yes,
unlucky to Alexander as well, who will be dropping out of this top 8. But Blood Eyes got a solid opponent to face off against next as well. Not going to be easy for him.
Oh, yeah, without question. It can be a matchup to watch. I'm very excited for it. And to give Alexander the props, that looked like a really tricky matchup. It did. And I can imagine Rambo. It does seem like Rambo does have some characters that just give him a really hard time, mostly about that range. He has to be point blank to function. And Frost, she hasn't got the fastest buttons in the world. It's a trade-off for the range that she brings to the table. But that range alone gives her some matchups that she can be quite the bully. And Rambo seemingly is one of them. But it's always nice to see Rambo in tournament. Maybe next time we'll be able to see him fight someone that doesn't keep him away, Or maybe Alexander has other characters for that. Who knows? But definitely a specialist at the character.
Well, either way, we had some excellent matches that we went through so far, and everything like that. We saw some great representation from a variety of different characters. And if you like your characters, you can head over to the MK11 merch store. Just head over to amazon.com/Mortal Kombat, rep your realm, and visit the Pro Competition merch store. Browse apparel featuring your Regions League and favorite MK11 characters. As you can see right here, an Alina shirt looking really cool as well. And you can get them customized for your local regions as well. You don't have to have it saying North American League. If you're in, let's say Australia, you can get it customized. So it says Intercontinental. Exactly that. But on that note, we are going to cut over to a break. We will be back very shortly with more Mortal Kombat 11 action from the Europe East side in the Pro Competition Online. Hope to see you then.
Peace.
Jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
PlayStation. Looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension, trapeze high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. We're real life manipulators, get it back up and see you later. I like me for me, I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me, I am who I wanna be. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na 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 na. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. I like me for me, I'ma be what I'ma be. Prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself. I like me for me.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series.
Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app.
Filter by type and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournaments menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play.
Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time.
A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match.
Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
PlayStation. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine. End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition Intercontinental Combat. I am Mustard, joined by Falcon, and I mean, I just realized during the break that I'm pretty much wearing exactly the same thing that Ketchup is, so pretty much nothing has changed. It's exactly what we've been watching for the past hour, so let's just continue. Yes, indeed. It's just that quick instant transmission just to get from there to here. But we have had a really good day so far of action here in this EU East, you know, the double barrel day that is going to be both EUs back to back. We are starting off with East, and we've had some great games already, and it's shaping up that today is going to kind of continue that, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some awesome sets on our hands from before, and I'm sure that we're going to be expecting some great games soon to come. But before we can get into all that stuff, I want to quickly talk about the PS4 Tournament Open Series, the presenting partner for the Pro Competition Online. The Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition is presented by PS4 Tournaments. Check out the PS4 Tournament Open Series. They're weekly competitions for all skill levels. You can compete against your friends and rivals for unique rewards. Visit the PlayStation 4 Competition Center, the one destination that has Mortal Kombat content that gives an inside look at how top players play and tips and tricks for players of all skill levels. Head over to that website you see on screen, compete.playstation.com, and sign in with your PSN and give it a shot. An open series for all players and, you know, aspiring competitors alike, a great way to get your foot started in the competitive scene and kind of just test your mettle to see how you do against the best of the best.
And that really is the whole point, right? Accessibility. It's free to enter, open for everyone, whether it's pro competition, whether it's open series, you know, this week in, week out ability to compete, you know, test your mettle, get some competitive experience if you're kind of looking to dip your toes in, to try, you know, tournaments for the first time. This is a year where online is pretty much going to be the norm for every fighting game, right? So if you like MK, you like the game, you want to really get that competitive step, this is a great way of doing it. And if you're already competitive, it's just a way of, you know, entering some tournaments. And you know, if you're playing the game anyway, you may as well. But we are back to the matter at hand, which is going to be Pro Competition, EU East. We are in the losers bracket still, as we have Flet versus Val in a bit of a Russian showdown. Presumably going to be Sub-Zero versus Sindel, as we do know Flet has been playing pretty much only Sub-Zero, honestly, since MK11 Ultimate became a thing. But I never can be too sure, because he was such a Johnny Cage, like, die-hard player before Ultimate that I kind of feel like he's still going to have Johnny there for some matchups, but we're not really seeing it in competitive with him, at least so far.
I think for the most part, we're just seeing a character that kind of feels a bit more like they can thrive in this environment of competitive play. And obviously, you know, we've known Flet to have a very strong Johnny Cage, but before, in the set just before, now, the thing is, Val was dealing with Nivek Sub-Zero very, very well. But right here, the Air Banshee getting called out straight away by the Amplified Ice Ball. Finding a nice opening touch right here is Flet. Val gonna have to hold this damage as Flet is running with the Rising Ice as well, trying to find a shimmy with the back one, but not gonna work.
Now, that really is the main difference, though, between Flet Sub-Zero and other Sub-Zeros that we see, is Flet has a unique twist. You know, that Rising Ice and Deep Freeze together. Flet does a lot of back 1-4 enders by themselves, because it gives you a decent advantage. Nice and close counter hit KB, and yeah, though, Val looking to get back into this one. Ooh, so much damage. And Val's execution on these screen KB combos is just nothing short of impressive. We see Val really make the most of it every time, and it's so good.
It's incredibly consistent, and you know, he really cashed out on so much damage over there without having the bar. But Flet, all he needed was that one opening hit, confirm into the Ice Ball, into the Fatal Blow. This should be the round for him. A very low damage scaling Fatal Blow. But using an important resource in the first round.
Yeah, this is generally just a really high damage version of Sub-Zero. You know, we're so used to seeing the Deep Freeze and the Creeping Ice for like the safety option to make the overhead more annoying, but when you've got Rising Ice and Deep Freeze, you're just doing much more damage hit for hit, and then you've got the option to cash out on even more, right? More damage on the 1-2-4 KB because Rising Ice, more damage on every hit as a general thing, right? Because damage is the name of the game, you combine that with Sub-Zero already being a very crushing blow-focused kind of, you know, 3-touch round-ending character, and it just makes that all the more scary. Whilst, you know, trading out some of the safety in the process, I suppose, but it's a lot scarier.
Yeah, definitely. Val doing a good job of just chipping away at the health bar of Flet. But Flet, you know, not afraid to just dash in and check with these slides as well. Right now he has the positioning. Val's been unable to kind of work his way out of the corner, but he's not overcommitting to anything. Blocks the forward to ice ball.
That was 1000% a reaction on the overhead. We saw Val stand up right at the last minute, and that's going to be forward 4. No, he's being patient.
Oh,
and again, now that was just, yeah, that was a dedication. That is a huge part of fighting Sub-Zero, is just having that confidence. Like, sometimes, yes, players can react. We've seen Val react in this set alone. But sometimes you just have to pick. They're going to overhead because they need to bring this back, and that's the most attractive one. Boom, stand up. Round 3.
Very back and forth game right now. The Banshee getting punished very, very swiftly. And that's something we didn't see very much when Mimic was on was against Val, is having those Banshees consistently punished. And Flet's been pretty on the ball with that, forces the breakaway. This is a great position. If you are a Sub-Zero player, is he going to get the pickup? Doesn't get the Rising Ice amp.
Now that, I have never seen that work, and that is far from the first time I've seen Flet attempt that. I can only imagine that at like maximum anti-air uppercut height, you do get a down 1 Rising Ice. Because I've seen Flet go for it like at least 3 times, but I've never seen it actually connect. But the fact that he keeps going for it means it must work, right?
Yeah, he must believe it to work, right? So yeah, it's definitely one of those things we can assume that it does work when he practices it, but he's just letting it kind of slip through his fingers when it comes to the actual games.
What's the happen this time though? So he gets a forward throw. What's the mix? Oh, no chase down. Oh, but a reversal fatal blow attempted. And a crucial protect. Flet staying alive, and there it is. Down 1 on hit, turning it into a grab. Expecting the respect. That's exactly what happened. Very close game number 1 though.
It really was. It really was. I think both players kind of had like, they were cashing out on huge amounts of damage per successful touch, but they also were kind of just very, you know, patiently blocking and outspacing each other in the neutral. Overall, Flet kind of got a lot of reward just from getting Val to break in a favorable position, really. I mean, I don't even think we didn't see a slide KB that game. We didn't really see many KBs that game, to be honest.
Honestly, we don't really see slide KB much at all from Flet, and there's one main reason for that. It's because Flet prioritizes Rising Ice damage above all else. So that is definitely one approach you can take with Sub-Zero. It's definitely not kind of unanimously like seen to be the best thing to do, because a lot of sub players, like, they'll spend bar early, get the slide KB ready, and then they'll start spending bar on the normal thing. But it really looks like Flet is so comfortable with the Rising Ice based offense, right? Whether you're like getting a confirm into it for more damage, doing about, you know, mid 200s before the break happens, and then keeping your turn going. It's almost like Flet would rather just keep making that a threat and forego the slide KB for it. But that does mean you lose that kind of like, I suppose, instant trump card that is the low slide KB, because of how much damage it can do and the threat of it as a punish or in the neutral or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, Flet right now, really good spacing as well. We'll punish with that back three. Now, we're just seeing him stagger a lot. He's getting a lot of momentum out of these staggers right now. Kind of just catching Val, guessing wrong all the time. That overhead ice ball, that is going to close out the round right there. Resource free. Clean ender to the round. Has a favorable position to work with, and Val has no breakaway.
I mean, we've been talking about how impactful it can be, though, to have Rising Ice just to add damage in the corner, especially. Like, Rising Ice corner combos are no joke. You're looking at some of the highest traditional damage, really, in this game, almost. Especially if you've got the 2 bars to spend. Oh, whiff punish. There we go. Oh, hello. I wonder what that was. I wonder if Flet was just trying to establish the standing 3 at least on block, but not quite expecting it to connect like that. Oh my god! Have you ever? Yeah. Max range whip slides. Yes, that is a bold attack. And Flet, the fact that it worked as well, like Flet is definitely feeling himself.
It would have been the MK11 if it KB'd.
Oh, that would have been.
So right there, he's trying to. Yeah, no, he had his ice ball low profile, but the amplified Star Screamer before. That was just about when she was rising, so the gravity kind of screwed Flet around a little bit over there.
Oh, that's not death, right?
Hit, I think that's death. He went into amplified ice ball.
Surely.
Oh
no, it is. It is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Amp ice. You are right. Amplified ice adding just enough damage to make sure that confirms. And that is the Sub-Zero effect. And the stage fail? Okay. We're taking a dip.
classic Deadpool way to go out. Now this is great. It's something we often don't see a lot is stage fatalities in competitive play. People tend to use
Fatalities
friendships.
in general.
Fatalities. Yeah, I feel like usually people like to close out a set with a fatal or a friendship, depending on who the player is. But stage fatals are often quite underappreciated. They've actually added quite a lot of them in the last patch, the aftermath.
Yeah, but this, like, adding a few, but there already weren't many. I think stage fatalities are definitely going back to the kind of like classic way where it's like a couple of stages maybe will have one.
Yeah,
but a very cool addition nonetheless. But right there, you know, we did see from Flair, we were talking about how doesn't tend to favor the slide KB, kind of plays his own game. It's not really about what's super optimal, it's about what works for you. And I feel like Flair is a really good example of that with Sub-Zero. Because Sub-Zero, there's no avoiding it, a very, very popular character now in MK11. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are playing sub that maybe weren't before. A lot of people that kind of, you know, dabbled or had like a pocket sub are now playing a lot more sub now. Like, he's definitely a character that has for sure gotten better with the addition of customs. But that doesn't mean you have to go with what everyone else is doing. Yeah, I know this. Flet isn't the only sub I've seen with this variation, but he's definitely the one that I've seen the most with it. And, I mean, it works for him, right? And the way he uses these both together, we're seeing both Deep Freeze and Rising Ice. They do have, I mean, look at that, 250 damage, point blank, and you're not having to worry about breakaways getting you killed. Like, it's really a sensible way of playing this variation that Flet does.
Yeah, you know, these are very interesting points because I'm starting to see a lot more perspective. Looking forward to one going to catch the haircut as well, being used by Vel. A bit of a switch up right there is going to be a lot.
Oh, of
now,
course.
that's something I don't see very much. Is the standing 4 into low star screamer? That's yeah, that's a first time.
Always reminds me of Kung Jin and MKX. There's like standing 3 and the low chakram.
Yeah, oh goodness.
It's almost the same kind of thing. Now, one thing we're going to see here though from Val. Val now going for the haircut. The big difference here is hit for hit, Val is going to start trading damage a bit better. Beforehand, Val was really reliant on the air Banshee to get any substantial damage, really. But now, haircut, I mean, one of the low-key, higher damaging launches in the game. And against Sub-Zero, you've got a character that has to take, or, you know, is taking risks the way that Flet is playing. If you block something, you need to be able to take as much damage away as possible. And that's what haircut is good for. As Val is looking like quite a reliable game here. Oh, hang on a minute, G3, I mean, this is still Sub-Zero. One by, yeah, there's the breakaway. Oh, the meaty!
Defensive break. But, yeah, that meaty working out wonders. Unfortunate combo drop right there for Flet, and Val gets an important game on the board for himself as we are in losers. But yeah, that seemed like a significant difference, and I was... Honestly, I think Val didn't have much to worry about. The moment he hit the Star Screamer and it kind of traded a little bit of damage when the Ice Ball connected, was really like, Sub would still have to work a lot more to try and close out that round than Val would have had to anyway. Spending the breaker was kind of just a safe measure.
I mean, better to break early when there's a lot more health to come back than, like, not accepting it. And then, because this is still Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero still does have a decent amount of, like, unbreakable damage to finish you off. So you don't want to kind of be avoiding that situation as much as possible.
Yeah,
oh, Val did get a game here. That was quite a good game as well, though. Flet, unfortunately, with the drop at the end, but still doing all right for himself in the set. He's still in the lead, but for how long?
But yeah, honestly, Flet had been playing that very well. I liked the option kind of just to take out the Air Banshee because he realized that, you know, Val realized that he was just getting split punished for them. And throwing him out there wasn't really getting him much success. Low Star Screamer haircut is a very solid variation choice. Loadout chasing in general. And Val, back to opening hit right there. Didn't want to overcommit to anything just in case there was a breaker. Just filling out the neutral, right? Just establishing the low Star Screamer, trying to chip away at.
This is actually, yeah, this is a lot more what happened in the last game too, though. Val just getting a lot of just chunks here and there, and then before you know it, it's a tremendous life lead. And again, Flair, seriously down on life. Oh, no punish on the roll though. Did see it. Oh, hang on a minute. One more reset into Fatal Blow, and we're done. Yeah, Val knew it. Val was ready for that. That was going to be Flet's answer back in. We did say one hit into reset was going to end the round, and Val especially aware of that.
That was a hugely successful round for Val right there, because he got not only the Fatal Blow was blocked, but he also ended the round without Flet having the breakaway, but right now Flet playing as disrespectfully as possible, has a health lead. Oh, really nice
another
punish.
confirm. Is there enough to kill? No, not quite. I think maybe go for the 1-2-4 in, but it does look like Flet saving it for round 3 as we now go into it. Now this is going to be match point. Val is looking solid in this game, but there's no avoiding the fact that Val is still down. Big jumping, but didn't quite connect.
Didn't. Luckily, Flet not pressing a button at that range, that could have been a bit disastrous for him. But the punish straight away on the amplified screen. Val trying to get as much damage on the table as he can right now. He has a bit of a health lead and is running away with it.
Oh, there it is again. The ever-present back 3. A little walk back into the low. Okay, Val with the breakaway. Now 1 hit away. Rising Ice. This is kill territory. No confirm on the low. That could have been it. A nice pickup. Val now back in.
It could just be a successful touch into Fatal Blow. As I say,
really crucial.
Tried to break. He tried to break as well. It wasn't even work out for him. The moment he got clipped for being airborne, it was pretty much over. Nice confirm from Val right there as he ties things up 2 games apiece.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be a lingering effect in the mind of Flet, I think, because Flet did get that low at the very end. Flet found the opening, but the one time he wasn't looking for the confirm, and he threw out the whole string just for the safety, was the one time that he should have been looking to confirm it instead. And now Val on the back of, again, another really clutch Fatal Blow pickup at the end. These like constant forward 4s done by themselves. And that's a big thing about Val. Val, you know, obviously relying on the forward 4 as much as any Sindel player, but not just throwing out the whole string. Val has a really good awareness for when to do just the forward 4 alone. Because if the forward 4 catches someone as they just happen to leave the ground, you can pick up with it. And the amount of rounds that Val has been able to turn that into, like, you know, the hair whip type of side switch or Fatal Blow pickup like we saw there has been so important. And now we do go into game 5. Flet had such a strong lead and it slipped through as now we go down to a final match. We are even in the set once again.
Yeah, you know, it's a very scary thing to be. I feel like the jump was definitely like the wrong call in the end of that round because of the ever-looming threat of the forward 4 and just kind of what you can do of it. But back-to-back games right here as Val started off with that back 2 with success. He committed to the haircut this time because Flet didn't break straight away last time, but this time Flet broke away, got a bit of damage on the table, trying to make something happen.
Nice range on that haircut pickup as well. Again, Val, a solid lead.
Yeah, he's just on the offensive right now, and he's making Flet just kind of. It seems like Flet's a bit more hesitant to play his game now. All right, punish on the amplified screen right there. He's gonna get checked, and he does get opened up by the forward 4. I guess wrong a little bit. Trying to find something happen with the corner. Nice whip punish.
Okay. Oh, an early reset, but no confirm again. Flet really trying to keep things tricky, but one hit too many as Val's able to find it. And this swap to this variation with the haircut, Val really has been making such a difference here. The damage.
All right, the jump kick couldn't get much off of it. Trying to establish something with the forward 4. And Flet challenging. I like the down 3 challenge as well.
Ooh, and again, it seems like whenever Flet does have a good sequence, Val finds that one moment to try and wake up buttons or something like that, just to kind of interrupt. And now Val evening things out somewhat, not quite in Fatal Blow territory, but very close. And that can make all the difference here, that life lead not mean too much. Okay, that's it. Val down in life, but a Fatal Blow will end right here.
Oh, no slide punish on that. Oh, gets hit by the final hit of the string.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That could have been it. With the Fatal Blow, no punish as well from Flet. A lot of things being thrown out from Val right now. Very, very close. Help!
Okay, Val went to go for that max range overhead, but Flet met it way quicker without advancing back 1. We're going down to the final round. Flet very close to stopping this reverse 3-0, but Val so close.
Flet's been doing a very good job of not getting clipped by that amplified scream KB as well. Staying outside of it, and if it is within range to connect, he hasn't been committing to anything. But low profile by the low star screamer. Still no punish on the scream.
Another good low. Ooh, max range.
Val really just chipping away at Flet right now, making it really difficult for him to make a comeback, but this is Sub-Zero, and we all know what he does.
Fatal blow in play. I mean, I do want to say this is a big leap for Val. Tries to whiff punish with a scream. Didn't quite get it in time, though.
Spending all of the offensive bar that he can right now. Doesn't have any...
Yeah, one too many. I honestly, I feel like Val was looking for that overhead the whole time. The amount of like individual lows that Val was able to just get hit by and Flet wasn't connecting for, I almost feel like that was just data that Val was able to use to be like, he's looking for the overhead. He is trying to condition the stand block. And Val, with that composure, a few things, right? Composure, a swap to a higher damaging variation, and that clutch factor to be able to seal out that reverse 3-game comeback. Flet is eliminated, and Val will be advancing through yet again. That was a GG right there.
Yeah, that was a really good set between both of them. Val adapted very well. And at the end, you know, honestly, that variation chain just seemed to help him so much. It was all just about, you know, he was playing the same exact game plan, but with no fear of being punished and no restrictions that the Air Banshee provided him. So every time he was hitting every time he got a touch on Flet, he was able to cash it into a fair amount of damage. If not, then get the breakaway, which was always favorable for him because he can go back to playing this runaway playstyle of using low star screamer and just patiently waiting for Flet to throw out the EX ice balls.
Well, it's dangerous to do that as well, though, right? Because like ever relying on a fireball or a projectile in any way in neutral against Sub-Zero with deep freeze, you have to worry about him having that ready. As soon as he has bar, that is a threat because, I mean, he goes for it, it plows through, and that's it. So I guess the low star screamer can go underneath it at certain ranges, or you have to keep one eye on that bar all the time. It is very dangerous, and the fact that Val was able to find that so many times was really respectable. But you know what else is respectable? It's Astro for being a huge part of pro competition as we know it. We do give a huge thank you to Astro Gaming, who are the official audio partner of the MK11 Pro Competition. All of our audio is powered by Astro for the entirety of the season. You can visit astrogaming.com to find more information on all of their officially licensed PlayStation audio products, which are all available now. And as you can see on the slide right here, you know, these really are some of the continuing headsets that we've had on the Pro Competition, even last year as well. You know, so we do thank you, Astro, for their extended support. But that does mean that we are now moving on to our next match. But it's been a good day so far. You know, this is the first half of the day, but Europe East, you know, it's never a disappointment. It's always really impressive to see because, you know, this part of Europe, right, the Russia, CIS, you know, Greek as well, they definitely are some key territories for MK in this part of the world. It's really nice to see these kind of opportunities continue to happen, so we can see these players, you know, really show what they can do.
We've been seeing a lot of really high caliber play coming from these regions, and you know, with IKK splitting EU East and EU West, we're seeing these differentiated top 8s of what we would usually see quite merged together in the Open Series, where we're now seeing, you know, maybe a few more names hailing from the European Eastern quadrants that we wouldn't have seen otherwise in the Open Series due to the merged bracket. So for that reason, it's cool to see people, you know, like Val over here, Blood Eyes as well, you know, returning faces that we've seen so much, but with their own bracket in this sense. Whereas we have, you know, the other side of the coin, a different level of competition with Europe West, which will come around later. But the CIS region and the, you know, everywhere around, you know, the Turkish players as well have got solid players. The Greek players have an excellently strong scene that we've been seeing over the course of years within the NRS community. You know, shout outs to all those guys as well. But, you know, overall, I think there are still some people that we haven't seen over here. You know, we're not seeing other players like, you know, the Dubasic, the Arn Kratos, the other household kind of CIS Russian player names that we've seen quite time and time again.
Now, speaking of which, our next two players, Mercer and Blood Eyes, definitely a matchup that I'm excited to see. Blood Eyes is I honestly think one of the best Frost players that we've ever seen in MK11. Just really consistent with this character, really kind of always looking to push things out. I'm seeing a new variation from Blood Eyes today that I haven't seen him play before. In the August shot, the the air dive bomb, and then the glacial calving we saw, just that kind of anti-projectile, kind of like neutral game. And I feel like Blood Eyes is the kind of Frost player that is always looking to kind of explore the character further, because Frost is a character that, to be honest, not incredible in the game's kind of tier list overall, but definitely not a bad character at the same time. If you really have knowledge of this character and how to make her work, she can be quite strong. She ticks a lot of boxes. She is solid. But you do have to be willing to put in the work. And Blood Eyes has been doing that in spades from the start all the way up to now. But he is going to be against Scorpion here. And Scorpion, a character that will shut down the projectile element of Frost. We've seen Mercer play this matchup before. Very competent in flawless blocking the Auger, amplifiers, and everything in between. But at the same time, Blood Eyes is going to be aware of how to play around that. So I expect quite a good set here, honestly.
Now, something I want to point out is that, now this might be controversial depending on opinion. Now, I think this variation of Frost, and rather Frost in her entirety, is quite an honest character.
Oh.
So, in this sense, we're seeing Hellpour Cancel and Sinblade from Mercer. Pretty much, he loves using the Sinblade anyway, and the Hellpour Cancel is very much a Mercer tool. The Blood Eyes, he plays a very patient spacing game. He likes to explore with the natural spacing and a lot of Frost's options, and I really like what he brings to the table with her. But the take grab from the back one in the corner.
I will say though, speaking of variations, we're seeing Mercer with the traditional Sim Blade, kind of neutral jump teleport cancel, but Blood Eyes, we're seeing again the Auger shot, the dive bomb in the air, but the overhead pickaxe. Now, I haven't seen a single Frost player use this move since Customs became a thing, but I like the idea because Frost does have, strong low options off that standing 3, and that kind of built-in overhead with a massive advantage on hit. I like the idea here. Oh, Mercer with the reversal fatal blow though. That's not the kill, but this is going to get down to a few percent at most.
Definitely going to send a little bit of a message right there, but still, this round rather, is still within Blood Eye's grasp. Just going to depend on how he does it, but a block on the overhead right there. I'm not sure what the decision making was. Maybe just trying to call him out, or maybe trying to poke the stagger, a potential stagger.
Yeah, I could only imagine that's what he was looking for, because the end of the string, there's no mix-up there, it's just mid again. There's no forward spot gap, so probably just looking for Mercer to press, because Mercer can be quite down one happy when he wants to be. But at the same time, unsafe is unsafe.
Yeah, definitely a good tech off that throw as well. Mercer trying to utilize those plus frames, gets clipped by the down one into the spin. Blood Eyes now has the corner positioning, uses the plus frames to try and establish something, and using these augers. I love the way he's using these down fours as well to check these Hellpour cancels and establish some advantage off of them, just denying anything from Mercer.
Oh, and that was a read upon a read. That was a beautiful sequence there from Mercer. The forward 4 spear to blow up the forward spot timing, and the instant breakaway. Beaten out by the armor break. Not every day you get the chance to see that.
And the thing is, it was such a good call out because he hadn't even used forward 2 into the great confirm as well from Blood Eyes. That is pretty much going to secure the round. I don't think it was.
That's more than enough
kill.
damage. That is 100% going to be it.
But yeah, Mercer hadn't used forward 2 once. It hadn't been a flawless block once, but he knew instantly the first time he would try and use it, Blood Eyes is capable, a competent player enough to flawless block and bristle it. So he called it out straight away on the first try.
Well, it's that kind of the layers of flawless block, right? Like, flawless block is such an important factor, but there are definitely players that are prone to doing more flawless blocks than others. And we know Blood Eye is definitely a flawless block happy player. So if you are looking at those anti-flawless block reads, then, they're going to work. But there it is again. Blood Eyes has been on the money with that all day. So consistent with finding those uppercut crushing blows.
Alright. Gets the down one trade over there, trying to establish hit, confirming it. Gets the Ice Quake low in the corner, using the auger to keep himself safe. But Jimmy right there.
Hit.
There is no breakaway for Mercer right now. He's going to get it only now. Blood Eyes might be ready for it.
Not quite. Escape failed though. This is going to be a tough comeback, but that grab KB will definitely help out. Okay, there it is. Spend it. Yeah, no doubt. And both players haven't got fatal blow either. This is definitely be a pretty honest end of round. And no amplify either. Oh, but the big jump read, Blood Eyes. Now, we definitely could have a very competitive set on our hands here. You're seeing so much knowledge, and again, I think that kind of goes with both these players. They are quite savvy in the open series. Blood Eyes has made it, a handful of times, but is there, a lot of weeks trying to make it. Mercer definitely been in the top 8 itself a bit more. But I feel like it's kind of hard to talk about EU East without mentioning Open Series. Because I feel like out of all the regions in the world that have thoroughly embraced Open Series more than anyone else, it kind of is this kind of CIS, Eastern European
definitely.
part of the world. So players like Mercer have been able to get that kind of almost weekly experience, that weekly practice at playing competitively, playing in tournaments, keeping that clutch. So I'm not at all surprised to see Mercer really having it in him here, but Blood Eyes taking that first game quite narrowly.
Yeah, but Mercer's obviously got the Open Series experience. Blood Eyes is a player, so both these players, I'm not aware if they had played previous Mortal Kombat titles, but they're both exceptional players, and they play a lot in this online environment. They do have a lot of experience when it comes down to it, and like you mentioned before, they I would say they're quite innovators of their own individual style of their characters.
Ooh. No, for sure. And these are two players that have been real day one mains of both of their picks here. And we're seeing that here, even though right there, we saw Mercer start the match off with another forward 4-2 and an instant force block from Blood Eyes. So Blood Eyes clearly looking for it. Yeah, there it is, right? You want to try and flawless block? Here's that trap. Forward 4 spear. And it looks so dangerous because it is. That's the read.
And now comes that further mind game about, Blood Eyes now being able to adapt to that. But cashes out nicely, 20% in the corner. That was pretty cool. Confirm. Teleport gonna blow him up. Mercer cashing out a nice bit of damage right here. Has a health lead too. Both players just playing really patient. Mercer not overcommitting to anything on the defense, but
whip punish
on the spear.
You gotta be careful whipping anything against that frost fatal blow. Full screen, basically one giant projectile. So good. It's like Aaron Black's, right? You see it. You see anything whiff, and it's just boom. Let's go.
Round 2.
Yep.
Well, that is a good round.
All right. Now that's a very far-reaching up 3. I think something a lot of people often forget about Frost. But using it very nicely. A throw tech as well on that helport cancel. Blood Eyes just seeming to kind of just be currently just one step ahead right now from Mercer. But Mercer trying to fight his way through.
Oh, now that was one of those punishable dive bombs. And that's the general rule of thumb. If Frost's dive bomb connects with your body on the way down, it's punishable. But if she slides at you by missing you, then it'll be safe. I love the speed in which Blood Eyes is playing this match, though. I feel like he really has just forced Mercer to slow down. Mercer normally a player that really thrives on being able to be quick, but just hasn't been able to. Good flawless block.
Not letting Mercer get away with any shenanigans at all, but Mercer getting an escape failed badge for himself. He's gonna have that throw KB. Good resource to have when trying to make this comeback.
Throw crushing blow and fatal blow as well. Like, that is the ultimate pair. He's a throw will hurt, a bump will hurt, but a big jump in. Is that enough to kill? Amplify?
I think it is.
Just enough. Blood Eyes managed to find just a straight up jumping punch there. Wow, Blood Eyes. Of all the things to find to seal that one out, definitely the last thing I think Mercer was expecting is just a normal jump in. But Blood Eyes was ready. Blood Eyes was ready to confirm it instantly. As much damage as possible, spending both bars just to squeeze out as much damage as possible there. Blood Eyes, I will be honest, looking really good today. Blood Eyes coming into this top 8 in losers, sure, but playing out of his mind. And that, I feel like that can sometimes be the benefit of top 8 being played on a separate day to the tournament. Because if you make the top 8 loser side, you're kind of having that relief, but you're still in losers. Whereas if you have the night to kind of practice up for it, kind of recompose yourself, you're almost going in fresh despite being in losers.
Yeah, definitely. It's good because it allows you the breathing time, the labbing time, but you also get to know your opponents, who it is that you're going to be fighting against, which ways the brackets could go depending on if you win or lose. And I guess it helps you be more prepared. And in this case, Mercer has more footage to look at than Blood Eyes does. So if Blood Eyes was prepared for this, or prepared for all of potential opponents that he would be facing, then I think it's showing. Because Mercer right now seems to be struggling with the general approach. He just doesn't know how to really approach Blood Eyes and get anything substantial going right now.
Well, I almost feel like Frost could be a bit like the noob Cybot approach, where she very much can, like, when she has the lead, she can be somewhat of a brick wall. You know, safe buttons, decent range. Like, if you think about it, her massive problem, like her biggest issue in the game, oh, big punish. Her biggest problem is her mobility is no good. Like, her forward movement, not amazing. Her forward movement with buttons, very dedicating and very whiff punishable. But if she has the life lead and the movement isn't a problem because she doesn't need to go to you and you have to go to her, she has decent buttons for forcing that, right? The down forward, kind of keep your arms reach, safe back one. Well, hello. However, escape failed. Mercer taking quite a strong round one there.
Yeah, and right now, Mercer, he's definitely been fighting his way back. Getting that round is very important for himself. Right now, he already spent the KB, so he's not going to have it right there. But Blood Eyes finding an all-important opening hit in the corner right now. It gets a nice chunk of damage, 28%. Right now, okay, just establishing all the pressure. Mercer getting his way out of the corner, not overcommitting to anything as Blood Eyes though. Mercer right now has a great position, has a nice health lead to work with. And a 4-3 confirmed straight away into that teleport. Ending of the string as Mercer closes this one out, keeping himself in this one.
Now that was a total turnaround there from Mercer, like a complete change of pace as we see Mercer continue to be able to adapt on the fly. You know, we know he is no stranger to these events. He's down 2-0, sure, it was quite a convincing 2-0. But looking good. Looking good for bringing this back, hopefully. A very peculiar matchup for him. But looking all right. Mercer definitely knows a thing or two about Scorpion and these kind of situations, right? When you are backed against the wall and you are looking kind of rough around the edges to kind of tighten things up in the middle of the set. And that's what we're seeing there in that game, I think. That was much more Mercer being able to play his game.
Yeah, now this is, so, we mentioned that Blood Eyes plays Rain earlier on. He likes to play these very spacing-oriented characters, and I've played as Rain before, and I do like it. But, opting to not rock with the Rain, I don't actually think the character switch is really needed from my perspective. Generally speaking, because Blood Eyes has been playing fantastically with Frost thus far, I think just because Mercer's had, like, a moment of success in the set shouldn't really make you doubt the character pick that you had that's been, winning you the set so far up until now.
Round one, fight.
But as we approach this game over here, Blood Eyes still on match point to potentially take this set and move on further. Throughout the losers bracket, the Icequake punish right there, just establishing all the pressure. Balls block from Mercer, not going to get much off of it though, but a lot of pressure right now. Just playing really, really patiently. Mercer going to have to win this one to tie things back up, as he is down the extra game. And Blood Eyes is rocking a different Frost variation as well. Changing things up a little bit. Maybe Mercer going to have to adapt slightly to the changes, but still has the Icequake. Gets a punish this time. Didn't overcommit. He canceled the Hellport. Crossover kick. Mercer finding the opening hit. Spends the breakaway as Blood Eyes getting staggered into thrown right here. How's Mercer going to use the Oki? Alright, wow, that was clean. A whiff punish right there. 4-3 into the teleport. Goes for the Sin Blade. Big, chunky block stun right there. If I'm not mistaken, that is plus. But a down 4 check on the teleport as we're seeing the crossover right now. Blood Eyes potentially has this in the bag, but it's anyone's game at this point, as both players are sitting on that fatal blow. Down 1 checks. Mercer trying to establish anything as time is ticking down. 7 seconds on the clock. Now, Frost has a lot of chip damage over here. The forward throw is going to bleed out some time, though. Is it enough? Just about enough. Blood Eyes steals that round away. Now on match point. Oh, and the duck as well. That was a big down 2 KB on that read. throwing has been swiftly denied. A back 3 check from Mercer as he dashes up with the meaty 1-1, forcing the breakaway from Blood Eyes. And spends, using the rest of the string to fly away, showing him the sandals as well as the KB, and getting a huge amount of damage on the table as Mercer has slowly but surely just obliterated Blood Eyes' health bar this round. Oh, back one into Hammer? Shades of the OCE IKK. We last saw the Hammer. Yeah, the greatest tool on the stage. And the up 3 blocked. Mercer in a good position to take this round with Chip alone, and the short hop 2 is going to be enough. We are now still on set point for Blood Eyes, and Mercer is going to have to win this one to tie it up. The Ice Quake blowing up that forward 3. A flawless block for the first time from Mercer on the back 2-2, sorry, from Frost. Spends the KB with the 2-on-2, getting a bit more damage, burning down on that health bar. Frost dashing up. Blood Eyes ever so close right now.
Oh, good air to air. We're going to see the August come through. Oh, big punish, but no bar to get any more damage. Now, okay, no commitment. Blood Eyes playing it safe there. Okay, throw counter hit again. No crushing blow, of course, but
looking pretty bleak for Mercer right now as Blood Eyes is establishing the pressure in the corner. A lot more jump ins.
I love his approach though. He was keeping it so safe. He's literally just looking to chip him down, not trying to commit too much. Again, there it is, a grab again. Now that one on paper, an unsafe throw attempt, but does not matter. He was so convinced. I think he was really trying to establish that throw right that entire last bit of the round. And well played all round. I mean, I just love watching Blood Eyes boss, man. He's just such a grasp of this character. And because Scorpion is on paper a matchup that can be quite tricky, but just because of his ability to like shut down base moves, right? Like you can't really go for projectiles, can't really go for augers on paper, but yeah, that doesn't mean that you 100% can't. You know, just because on paper they can be reacted to, doesn't mean they always will. You know, it can be kind of range dependent. It can be if if there's more to it than that. But regardless, just well played. Blood Eye is going to be moving through. Mercer unfortunately going to be eliminated here, but definitely still doing well for himself. Blood Eyes is looking solid overall. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play it in a little bit. But I do think that now it is time for us to go to winners finals, if I have this correct. So we are going back up to the winner's side, going back to definitely what I think could be one of our more explosive sets of the day, because we do have just really solid play overall. It's going to be that Desarted, it's going to be K-Top. And K-Top in general is a player that I think has firmly, he's had a good week. There is no two ways about it. It's just K-Top has done well on Open Series. We've had monthly finals. It's been a busy, busy week. We had Open Series on Tuesday, monthly finals on Friday, and now Pro Comp today. So K-Top's he's been around. He's been putting in that time. And he's
definitely been, doing damage, especially in the short time that he's been back, playing Mortal Kombat competitively and stuff like that. He's been making great strides in this amount of time. We saw an amazing set from him earlier on when he beat Mercer, but this is what I feel to be pretty much what you said earlier. It's going to be a very explosive winners finals because K-Top plays very aggressively, very fast paced, and all over the screen, just kind of applying loads of different, methods of play. Whereas Desarted has quite a unique identified style of Shang, where it really, his loadout rewards the playstyle that he has. He's able to consistently jump kick OS. He's able to, use Corpse Straw to check you in neutral and apply the overhead threat with that damage. And also, he uses things consistently, like the back one into the reptile slide, like making you fuzzy that. And generally, applying Shake in many different situations as well. He's been a really consistently strong Shang player and CIS player overall that we've been seeing for some time. So I'm excited to see this winners finals match.
I honestly think Desarted is my favorite Shang Tsung to watch, because his awareness for like what different loadouts to have is just so impressive, because he has so many different variations that are meant for different things, right? We see a lot of the Shake. We do see a lot of just about a bit of everything, to be completely honest. Now, what we're going to see here, because this is the anti-Jackie variation, I think. Yeah, I can't use smoke. So is this going to be... I think normally for Desarted, it's like Ermac lift is guaranteed. But I actually think... Does he rock the teleport against Jackie? He did against Super Jump Joker. Okay, lifts. Okay, no, this is definitely very Desarted. So super kick and slide and lift. So it looks like Desarted really attached to the lift and the reptile slide. But it's that third special that seems to be a little bit more chop and changeable. Now, winners finals though, we have to remember this is pro competition territory. A lot of points on the line. Now Desarted, another player that we've seen go from strength to strength. I think it's kind of hard to talk about success in Open Series without mentioning Desarted and how that's transitioned to other events. Now pro competition, intercontinental combat. Let's go. A matchup we've seen Desarted play a lot, actually. He does typically look quite confident due to things exactly like that. A player very aware of this Jackie matchup. And a huge part of it is just the awareness of resources. Having to pay attention to how much bar she has to amplify those grenade launches. Now big leap.
No, the whiff punish right there with his soul lift as well. He's going to get that corner. But down two. They get the pickup.
Okay, not bad. And there is that double shot, but no punish attempt. Okay, no, we're not going to see it. That could have been it on paper from Desarted. Oh, yeah, big throw.
Sorry, that's a back throw, not a forward throw, my mistake. And right here, using that corpse drop, trying to tag on the final bit of health.
Aw, damn.
Now K-Top.
Okay,
I feel like there's a lot we can say about Desarted's like general knowledge in the matchup, but K-Top is just playing so well this week. I think K-Top is doing so much better. Now we've seen him really settle on Jackie, because I think early on in Ultimate we were seeing a lot of Fujin, a lot of Jade, and then, you know, as much kind of equal parts Jackie. But now we really are seeing just the commitment to this one character. And he's getting so much better because of it.
It was a good block as well on the overhead. I guess right. Didn't want to go low, but right now Desarted has a significant health lead, but a clean jump in. This is Jackie, and she does do a lot of damage, but drops the combo.
Now, K-Top's doing that a lot. I think K-Top really wanting to deter the anti-air. Good round from Desarted. But such a huge part of the matchup, though, is seeing, is Jackie going to amplify the grenade? And after the amplify, what's it going to be? When she doesn't have the bar, it's like, if she thinks you're going to anti-air, another grenade, which is unsafe on block, but obviously it shuts down the anti-air game. There's so much more layers to it than that.
And right over here, we're seeing the flame carpet being set down, the 1-1-2 over here in the corner, trying to use the triple grenade to blow up any challenges from Desarted. Not going to work out. And all right, plus frames right here in the corner. The down to 31%. He's got a big pickup. Forces the breakaway from K-Top. Desarted looking to close out this first game right now. Unless K-Top can make one thing happen. It's just a hit confirm. Oh, that neutral jump. A hit confirm into fatal blow is going to be all he needs. Oh, spends the fatal. Not going to work out for him.
That's the thing, though. He went for the big read near the end. And he was so close to it. So close to it. But being able to get that brutal at the last minute anyway. Never get tired of seeing Desarted with this clutch factor always against Jackie, a character that I think that he doesn't like fighting. I think a lot of Shang Tsung players don't, but I think it's his own comfort with the Ermac lift combined, right? The down one anti-cross up, the pickup. It's like, you know, 20%, 25% at least, whatever the case may be. That's good damage right there.
I'm curious to know from a Shang Tsung player's perspective, you know, one day I hope to ask him specifically about this, is about the leap, you know, being taken into consideration, about whether Soul Lift or Eruption is really like the preferred method of kind of like approaching the matchup. Because obviously we know Desarted doesn't really use Eruption. He's mainly a Force Lift user. But in this case and in this specific matchup, is it something, you know, worth using Eruption for? It's something I personally don't know too well. I don't know if there's a preference or maybe one is favored over the other, but it's something to consider, I think.
We've recently seen both Desarted and Arn Kratos go with other variations to fight Jackie. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the variation I saw Arn Kratos use a few days ago was, I think it was Ermac lift, super kick, and the exploding corpse, I think. So definitely both of the Russian Shang Tsung players like, yo, I'm fighting Jackie, let's just brawl. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're going for here. And the super kick cancels once more. The super kick cancels, giving you those bigger windows to confirm things like forward 2, which is a really good anti-jump tool.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure Desarted won the last game, right?
Yeah, Desarted won the last game.
The scoreboard is a little bit off, but I'm sure that'll get swapped over.
Catching up the damage. He had the right read, but the wrong spacing right there. The air-to-air trade. Still anyone's game, but the amplification on the corpse drop. Exploding at the heels of Jackie.
There's the air-to-air. You're going to take that chunky bit of damage there. 27% because you got hit by an air-to-air jump kick. All thanks to Ermac. The max range lift. Katov not quite looking to capitalize. Has the corner pressure, but Meter, not amazing, to be honest. If he gets clipped now, that's another big chunk of damage that he's going to have to hold. Thankfully, though, 2 bars of Amplify ready to go for damage. And he hasn't actually had to spend anything yet. Good grab, and we'll see what comes next.
He really hasn't. This is just a matter of a lot of buttons, and Desarted's just kind of like trying to find his moment. But the +2 holding that down in the face of a 9-frame mid. We can see the full string spent over here. Desarted trying to open up a bit more space and use that standing 3 as we've seen him use so much in the past.
Spending both of it. There's that down 1 punish. Just to squeeze it out there. If it's an anti-air, great. If it's on hit, at least we get some kind of turn. But the way things are going, likely to be the round, especially with that damage on the floor. Reptile not quite able to get out of that one.
Not your best play.
I mean, yeah, K-Top right now, he's very explosive. It kind of just seems like one player just steals the momentum for a while and just kind of rolls with it. But the down 2, a big decision right there from Desarted. Didn't get much out of it except for the damage. He's lost a lot of health already in such a short amount of time catch-up.
Oh, that's it. And I say that's it because there's damage on the floor. Wait. What happened there? Someone
He slightly shimmied forward.
Did the screen move? Because no, but he was what?
I think the screen slightly moved when he slams you on the back.
Oh, I've got the stream on the other monitor, so I'm gonna look at it again. Oh, I know what happened now. I know what happened. Because it was the corner. Because of the big over-the-top animation of flipping the character over his head, it slid Ermac into the puddle.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Okay, that's what happened. I really had to double take there. I had to be sure, but at least we know now. But I mean, look, if you're near the corner and you can't move, it does reposition. That is just really, really unlucky if you're Desarted.
Yeah. K-Top, really got away with by the skin of his teeth over there. Luckily working out for him, but that's just damage over time. Damage over time being able to kill is a very strong tool, especially in those moments, where it really comes down to real nail biters. We're seeing the Jackie grenades. We're seeing the Aaron acids that we've been seeing for time. The collector flames as well. The little bag bombs, the vials. But yeah, damage over time, seriously applicable threat. Defensive bar not going to matter in the face of that.
Well, we go fresh into a new match. No time to reflect on that now. Forward 2, always being a common answer for jump in when you have the super kick, being able to kind of confirm it on hit, get a full combo if they try and jump out your forward 2. Something that really only super kick lets you get of that capacity in terms of being able to confirm. Anyway, you don't have to commit to something really unsafe. And now, as we jump straight back in, K-Top spending both bars. Yes, indeed. And that's going to be enough to stabilize and take a small life lead at the moment. Oh, wow, K-Top, you're just sticking out that down 2.
Okay, the wake-up buttons from Desarted. He's going to try and make something happen. Didn't get the KB, unfortunately, on that back one down 2. But right now, holding block, patiently finding his moment, and gets the opening hit with the forward 2, confirmed straight away into the damage, and the corpse drop to close things out.
But this is definitely a development for, at the very least, the Russian Shang Tsungs, which in my personal opinion are the two best Shang Tsungs in the world right now. It's this idea of basically building variations to beat all the characters. Against Jackie, what is the point of giving yourself like ground eruption or range when she's gonna get in eventually? It's what Jackie does. You may as well give yourself the tools to fight and brawl up close and contest with that range that she's basically gonna force upon you. And it's working wonders right now for Desarted. One round up here, lovely throw tech out the corner, has to show a lot of respect, and there's so much damage on the floor. Even with that throw tech, he's taken basically a grab's worth of damage anyway, just standing in it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Jackie applying a lot of the pressure. The +2 right there gets the back throw, has the Oki to work with, and a health lead. It started now. He's got the fatal blow, blocks on all of the grenades, forces the breakaway from K-Top.
Interruption. Really nice interruption there from K-Top. If he didn't have Breaker, that full confirm in the corner anyway would have been Ermac lifting fatal blow. So that 2 bars, all catches him. We're looking for it again, the high up jump kick. Instant jump 2 as well is going to catch, whether that was a flawless block or whatever, who knows. Either way, it gets the knockdown, and now we have to move on to the rest of the set. Oh, the jump in! Deceivingly large range all the time for Jackie.
31% as well, unbreakable right there for Desarted to eat, but no dash punch punish on that Ermac solo. I'm pretty sure it's dash punch punishable.
Okay, here she goes. She's pushing in now. Looks that forward 2. Now that forward 2 on its own. I wonder if that was super kick. Now, don't get hit. You've got no breaker. And this Shang Tsung has Ermac lift and fatal blow, looking for the cancels. Block on the overhead, no flawless blocks though, or the interruption. Oh dear, that's gonna be it. Bang!
Narrowly avoiding with that neutral jump as well, making the air-to-air whiff and catching the hit on the way down. K-Top now 2-1. Has the game lead over Desarted. Looking pretty strong, and seems to be giving Desarted quite a hard time, because one thing that I really do notice, Desarted's barely been OSing jump kick because he's not been landing jump kick.
This is
and I feel like that's a big
know your enemy.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage he's really missing out on because he's just unfortunately not landing the hit. It seems like K-Top is just very wise to it. And he's just allowing Desarted to use these early jump kicks to, you know, not have an advantage by the time he's on the ground. And then he's getting challenged. And it seems like it's a bit harder for him to find the kind of hits. But when Desarted does find the hits, he's cashing them out very well.
Now, is it the same variation? Yep. Can't use smoke. Exactly the same. K-Top going in with the same thing as always, locked into it, having won the last match. Well, I think this would be a great win for K-Top. This would probably be, just like this, if he gets Grand Finals winner side, his best accomplishment in Mortal Kombat 11 to date. Again, I really would like to remind everyone that this guy had to miss the first year of competitive MK11. He wasn't able to play any games at all that year, but he was able to watch and study, along with his brother H-Dope. And now they've come in a year later, being able to get Grand Finals winner's side of a Intercontinental Combat Qualifier would be phenomenal growth for a player that definitely made a name for himself in the later stages of Mortal Kombat X's prime time.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like K-Top and H-Dope both very active, grinding players, but they've had a shorter amount of time to really be, you know, able to do that. They've been doing a lot of methodical approaches before playing the game, you know, physically again. Right here, you can see that a lot of the methodical approach and just generally the options and the comfortability, I want to say, with how they play is top-notch. They're able to take it to players like Desarted. And with Desarted, we saw an excellent performance from last time in EUEs as well.
All the delay into grab. I mean, he is putting his life on the line every time he does these, but he's just getting the good read so far. And here comes the offense, the leap, and K-Top not wanting to spend any bar on it. He has given Shang Tsung the fatal blow, spending everything and getting punished for it. That was expensive. And the wake up into counter hit KB. Thank you very much. K-Top spending all of his resources and then losing the round anyway. Feels bad, man.
He did get the KB out of Desarted though on that punish. Fortunately for him, as that wasn't the first round. You know, betted it all with the Hail Mary fatal blow. Didn't quite work out for him, but right now he's applying all the pressure he can. Oh, big whiff on the down 2. Right read, wrong time.
Plus frames. Respect being shown there by Desarted. Can't really challenge mid-screen adults. Says back to the wall. Wow, rare footage of actually not getting Ermac left off that jump kick. Speaking of which, we'll swiftly get it again. Nice conversion. Again, jump kick air to air, 25%. That is a really good chunk of damage.
Alright, and over here, we're seeing the back roll from Desarted as he was trying to open up a bit of space. Didn't commit to any trip guarding. And right now, K-Top applying pressure with these leaps, trying to go for that down one on block, back one shimmy, forward on two.
More of this jump in game. Ah, here we go. Jump into the advancing button. Something that we see Desarted do a lot, but not so much this time. Another 1-1-4 connects, but the breakaway forced again, so he's not been able to get the damage. Desarted. This could be the last sequence. Spending both bars, the forward throw, but Shang Tsung actually putting a fair amount of self-damage standing in the goop.
Oh, that was a big duck!
Neutral duck! Come on now.
That was a huge duck for Desarted right there.
Showing the fatality. Let's go, Kintaro. Surprise! It was me all along, Austin.
Fatality. Shang Tsung.
So let's talk about the end of that game. The fact that, oh my god, how far into layers do you have to be to do empty jump, neutral duck, and then win the game on that? Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. But it's the only kind of... You couldn't do that kind of play in, like, a Combat League match or, like, the first match you've ever played against someone. That kind of decision comes specifically down from just... You've played so many games, that's just where we're at. You know, you bait the flawless block anti-air, you bait...
Yeah. It's just like, it's such a gut feeling, instinctual read, isn't it? Like, you can tell it's just one of those things, and it could, you know, just be like... You just know what they're doing and what they want to do, and something like that, you know, is huge for Desarted. Obviously, now we are down to the final game situation in those winners finals to determine who's going to make it into grands and winners. And between both these players, genuinely, with how they've both been playing, I don't think I can call this. What about you, Ketchup?
If we're going by recent results, Desarted is the one that has the advantage here, but I don't think K-Top is going to choke under these conditions. Very aggressive player, sometimes can get frustrated mid-match. I don't think this is going to be one of them. But Desarted has been able to display a larger amount of that kind of clutch in MK11. So, you know what? I think I'm betting on him right here as he gets opened up by a combo. Sorry, mate. Cursed you.
Alright, keeping himself safe is K-Top.
Oh, he's going for a hard read. Just the neutral duck on wake up. Meaty plus frames again. The breakaway happens and the plus frames come out on wake up, and it's so hard to challenge this. The staggers are real. K-Top having a very jacky round. Oh, wake up down two and air to air. Oh no, the damage on the floor.
It was so clever to just do wake up like into the grenade launcher, you know, just jump straight into it. You knew Desarted was closing the space. There was no way for him to get away from that one.
Okay, forward throw again. The grab game from K-Top has been absolutely on the money this game, but now full combo. That's about 30% if memory serves. 32. That's very good indeed. The air shrapnel able to shut down the air-to-air jump kick. Remember, this is match point for K-Top. If he wins this round, he is Grand Finals winner side. His best tournament result to date for MK11, no doubt, but he's not there yet.
He's definitely getting the back throw as well, gonna have a bit more Oki. Using that wisely, going for the leap pressure, keeps the plus frames on. Desarted respecting a lot, choosing to just keep taking these throws, but now he's in danger territory. Oh, what a call out straight away. Burns him down. Very low life for Desarted at the moment.
Oh, hang on. Now K-Top, he has to break, but can he? No, never mind. Spoke too soon. That fatal blow was coming out, and if he broke, he would have taken unnecessary damage. Wyatt temporarily forgot about the fatal blow there. It's the only reason he would have stuck that out. Here comes the damage, but it's not enough to kill. He hasn't even got the life lead, but he calls out the wake-up roll. Match point, both players.
Very, very smart choice from Desarted right there. The roll was very antsy, got blown up by those skulls. And we're now down to the last round of this winners finals to determine who's going to make it into the grand finals on the winner's side. And right now, the air-to-air from K-Top is going to get it confirmed.
Another catch. Can't quite finish it. The grab tech coming out from Desarted. Tech's normally being his magic number, but the escape failed. Tried to tech that one, but not right. Remember, tech and grab still a 50-50, especially mid-squeeze. Oh no, just whips down two. That was either unintentional or just a big risk. The failed buffer into the Ermac, and that was a fall apart round for Desarted. He tries to buffer the standing free into Ermac, and he's too close. Oh, the revenge fatality again. That's going to be K-Top moving into Grand Finals winner's side. Desarted lying in wait in the losers finals. And now for the next match, we'll find out who his opponent's going to be.
Fatality.
K-Top looking incredibly strong right now. Just seems to be this unstoppable force that is kind of just, you know, consistently been applying so much pressure to each one of these opponents that he's had to fight so far. I mean, albeit Mercer and Desarted both are two consistently placing, you know, open series players from the CIS region. We see a lot of very, you know, unique playstyles and placements from Mercer. Desarted as well, did incredibly well last time we were here with Europe East in the IKK, and has now just dropped into losers finals to face off against whoever that will be later down the line. But honestly, K-Top looking incredibly strong, showing off this Jackie variation that is oh so popular since the Ultimate patch.
But I think it makes a lot of sense, though, and that we're starting to see the development of someone like K-Top, who I think has really started to dedicate to a lot more Jackie. It fits his style perfectly. If you are a rushdown player, you know, kind of look no further, really. You can't really go wrong picking her. And then, if need be, for specific matchups, he does have the Jade with the Delia's Dance, a bit more rushdown focused, actually, even with Jade, which I think was the Injustice 2 in him, really coming out, letting him expand his horizons of playstyle. But it opens up to now our top 4. Before we go into our top 4, though, I want to remind everyone what we're here for, and most importantly, why Presented by PS4 is right up there at the top of your streams. The PS4 tournaments is more than the pro competition. The Open Series exists as well. They go hand in hand, and the Open Series is weekly access to tournaments, experience, cash prizes every week, where you have 4 weeklies and then a monthly final at the end of the month. This is for EU and North America. Go to compete.playstation.com to find out your eligible regions. But the important thing is, like PlayStation, they've been supporting the Mortal Kombat scene throughout the entirety of last year, fresh going into this year, with Open Series, with Pro Comp, Liga Latina, North America, Intercontinental, you name it. You're probably going to have some kind of tournament to play in through your PS4. So get involved. Losers semifinals now. Val, Blood Eyes, probably going to be Sindel versus Frost.
Yeah, no, this is a very unique match, I think, that we're going to have approaching this, because both Val and Blood Eyes have shown consistently that they can adapt on the fly to their opponent, and they've beaten strong opponents to get to this point in the top 8. So I think that, you know, Val we've seen win EU East before. We've seen his incredibly dominant Sindel do the work. Blood Eyes, on the other hand, we've seen more of an Open Series. We know that he's quite the dark horse player that we mentioned in the beginning of this top 8, hailing from Turkey, and having an incredibly strong Frost that he's been playing since the beginning of the game. And the way that he played against Mercer last we saw him on stream today was nothing short of, you know, solid gameplay and character expertise that you can see. But same can be said about both players as we approach this match to determine who's going to be advancing further into the top 8. Let us know who it is that you think is going to win.
And now we jump in. Top 4 territory. Whoever wins this fight's Desarted, which would be a really good match in itself anyway. Frost versus Sindel. I mean, when's the last time we can say we've seen this matchup?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Frost representation these days, and that mask is sick. But
it really is. I haven't mentioned it before, but Blood Eyes' cosmetics here on Frost is so good. And now the trades. Now you are going to have a bit of a projectile battle taking place here, mostly because of that low star scream. You know, if Sindel didn't have it, it would be an entirely different story. But with it, it does open up this kind of mix. And this is why, you know, Mustard pointed out this kind of like projectile shield. Oh, releases the scream just a bit too late right there. Would have chased down the wake-up roll.
But yeah, that energy barrier providing a lot of utility against characters that do have projectiles. Obviously, Blood Eyes knows that Val likes to use that low star screamer. That is clearly, you know, just not getting the most success. Blown up probably on an Ice Quake attempt from that range. With that max range, Banshee Scream KB.
Getting the execution down on that combo with the air Banshee dash. It's definitely not as easy as it might seem sometimes. Very important. But no, that's just the ability to shut down that projectile game. It's actually very reminiscent of Rain's Rift. You know, the fact that it recovers so quickly. Oh, if he just believed. If he just believed, that would have been a confirm into the round win. Absolutely. And now Val pushed back. The combination of the shield and the augers, actually. Oh, whip and flip. No one home. Bang. 1% in it.
Not enough, but gets the only bar out of Val that he could have spent on that. He's been using it so well, just using this projectile barrier just to soak it. He's playing the most hyper lane game ever. Oh, he got clipped! Why would he jump?
Oh, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, mate. Because that's going to be the round for Val. 2 seconds to spare and able to find it. I thought the second Blood Eyes did that air dash. We would have just seen backdash, backdash, backdash. Like, I really did not expect the jump at all.
Yeah, me too. I would have totally thought he was just been running away. And Val, you know, just about getting that round for himself. Spent the fatal blow, but totally worth it. Escape failed on the side of Blood Eyes, though, as he does forward throw out of the corner. Val guessing wrong over there.
Oh, expecting some kind of duck, perhaps. That dash in, back one. Such an amazing mid, his Frost's back one. Looking for the confirm. Another crispy anti-air there from Val, that down 4. Never underestimate it. Looking for the far range scream.
Oh,
even when the KB is used. I mean, the counter hit still stuns him. Again! Blood Eyes not deterred. Val gets the stun, but not able to charge it long enough to get enough damage, or the combo perhaps just on its own, standalone. Sure hop begins. The low coming out. And Blood Eyes, this is where Frost really likes to be. No scream for you, man. He threaded the needle there. Absolutely.
Yeah, literally exactly what I was gonna say. That was a very, like, well-placed jump. quite the call up. As we're now tied up 1 round apiece between both these players. Val holding that scream just a little bit, getting a nice cash out on damage right here, ending in that Banshee Scream cancel. We have lost so much life.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth, I think, in such a short space of time as well.
Yep. Not even been 30 seconds and this man is bleeding. Oh, big whiff, no punish!
I mean, I don't think anyone was ready for that to be finished. Expected that to catch, perhaps committing to what would have been a counter hit launcher if it wasn't blocked and punished. The forward 4 is looking good too, Val. Looking like he's going to take this first game the way things are going. Okay, a little bit of free damage. Oh!
Ice Quake straight over the Star Screamer. Plus frames.
A lot of people have been disrespecting those plus frames today.
Oh, the rolls!
Watch your little feet there. Sindel getting clipped by the rest of that string. That is unfortunate for Vulcan. What a game 1. What an insane game 1 that was.
For the way that these rounds have ended, I feel like my heart rate shouldn't be, like, any lower than it's currently at. These, like, at the end over there, I'm seeing they're quite scrambly, but they almost feel like intelligent scrambles between both players. I don't know how to quite describe this. I feel at a bit of it's just very tense. I feel like this is kind of the back and forth action we expected to see going into this set.
I really, really, really like the use of the... I know Jake actually plays the character, so he knows the exact name of the move, but the shield, the projectile shield that Frost can create, it actually was the big thing that kept Blood Eyes in that matchup, because it shut down the Star Screamer in a position where a single Star Screamer would have taken him out of that game.
Is it core discharge? No, that's the head. That's the head.
No, that's the
that's
the
flies
self-destruct.
at the yeah. Oh, that is the self-destruct. Wait, is it? Or so?
I think so.
Cryogenic crown. There's core trap, which is the rolling head. Glacier Cal.
All right, Val. Gone back into the low.
Calving. I believe that's it.
Special forces.
I would never have guessed that on my own. Absolutely. No way. So we'll keep calling it projectile shield. Glacier Calving. There it is. Yeah. Done one.
It's a really useful tool, though. No, I remember having this kind of like discussion with Wasminator when Ultimate came out, where I was talking to him about Frost variations, and you know, the applicability of different loadouts with Frost. And Blood Eyes tends to run like a slightly different one, but he's using the tools in near enough the same way now, where he doesn't take the microburst, he takes the Ice Quake instead.
Got to mention too that Val has gone for a change. No whip and flip this time. It's the bellowing Banshee off the jump in, so it's kind of double utility. I think normally Val calls this variation like not splitting hairs, Loud and Clear plus. Essentially taking the two favorite moves from Loud and Clear and replacing the one that you don't want with, in this case, the Low Star Screamer. No point really talking about it right now because here comes a full launch and Val with no breaker. Oh, the drop though. Blood Eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Teacher.
That could have been potentially awkward, you know, if he had been punished on the wake up from that drop. But luckily, not going to matter too much for Blood Eyes, using that Glacial Calving to just soak up the Low Star Screamer, working his way into the corner with a nice jump kick, clean over.
Oh, this corner pressure for Frost. It's so incredibly efficient. It's like one of the best ways to... Oh, never mind. Tries to jump over the Scream, and this time we're going to get a full combo Val. 1 bar to spend, and the launch. There's no way Blood Eyes is going to break that one after so much damage has been dished out already. Better to save it for a rainy day. We still have enough health left to make some kind of comeback here and bring it into a 2-0, but Val in full control, at least for now. And that's it. It's going to shut down the Starscream.
Yeah, that 40% anti-air hurt quite a lot. But right now, Blood Eyes, he is sitting on the fatal blow. Gonna have to be careful. Val, you know, reluctant to use a lot of Starscream, is reluctant to really do much over here. He just needs to slowly whittle down at that health. Blood Eyes got to find an opening. Val not wanting to overcommit to give him the KB.
We did see the bellowing Banshee there just now. Not a move that I'm super familiar with, to be honest, but that is why. Protects your bases when you do the jump back right there, catch them in the air. I haven't really seen a lot of Cylinder players actually use the Bellowing Banshee before, so I am very intrigued to see what the strat is going to be against Frost.
I believe it hits overhead as well. It's a very interesting special. Right now, yeah.
Range game. Oh.
Blood Eyes just doesn't want to commit like to anything much. He's just playing to essentially debilitate the options of Val. But, you know, right now he's just playing the full screen game as much as he can. He has a health lead to work with. Val choosing to play at his pace doesn't really have much of an option as the Starscreamer has been shut down by this Calving that we see ever so present in the neutral right again when we see it away.
It's a really interesting game to play. And looking for the down 4 anti-air. Perfect call on the wake-up roll, and now a full combo again from Blood Eyes. And so close to making this a 2-0. Oh, the dive bomb to shut down that Scream is being really put to good use there from Blood Eyes. He needs really anything at this point to win the game. Has no meter. Lets
Yep,
it run.
that wasn't it though. Yep. Wisely punished by Val. He got the breakaway from Blood Eyes as well. That's a big opening hit. 4-1 fatal blow. This is going to do a fair bit of damage. But still, this is Val's game to lose right now. He's going to have to still work on finding that opening hit if he wants to win this.
Jumping grab. And again, though, 6 seconds on the clock. Blood Eyes still in the lead. The jumping, bellowing Banshee. There's no way Blood Eyes was prepared for that final Scream on the end of that jump in. You had to be absolutely, you're going to jump, you're going to do this extra move that, by the way, no Sindel ever actually takes. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely working out wonders for Val right there, as he's essentially stolen 2 rounds this set in a very narrow, almost timeout situation by you're just letting it rock the Hail Mary, and it's worked out for him.
Now in this situation, 1 game apiece. That is, I mean, a frustrating way to lose the game. Got to keep your composure in this position. I have no doubt everyone left in this tournament will be able to do that. That was an incredible matchup, and I'm really liking this variation that, you know, Mustard mentioned earlier today. He's like, we've never really seen any Frosts use that since Ultimate, but I think Frost is definitely a character that although she's not considered, the best character in the game by any means, she is very interesting when it comes to putting together those custom builds because
she's a versatile character, isn't she? Yeah, exactly. Like, she allows you to play in a way that is comfortable for you, but she plays quite a fundamental way, just on paper, like her base kit alone. So when you start to apply it, with a player like fundamentally sound like Blood Eyes, he starts to apply these different things that you start noticing here and there. And it's not like Frost necessarily has a lot of mix-up potential, but he's playing in a way that's just making it hard for Val to play the neutral, but a really nice anti-air straight away with that poke into the hair whip.
Oh, fishing for that forward too, but never mind, the Star Screamer has other plans for that one. The second that projectile shield is available, yeah, using it super low to the ground, that's where it becomes really hard, in some cases not possible to punish. Oh, here comes the combo. Val actually is going to build enough, takes the small walk forward just to guarantee that the offensive meter builds. That's a specialist right there. Oh, there it is again.
Is very good situational awareness from Val as he now takes the lead in the set, which is really important for him. We are in losers semis. As you can see underneath the timer over there, the winner of this set is going to advance in the tournament. The loser does not have another chance. So, right now, Val looking to potentially steal the momentum. A nice counter with that back two.
This is a really killer matchup. I'm really enjoying it. It's not your conventional matchup either. There's the armor break. Try and escape, lose all your meter and get anti-ed anyway. That is a feels bad moment. Like the whole thing rocks, sending him back to full screen. Now you can create this projectile shield all you want because you're the one that needs to come to me. Does change the dynamic quite significantly.
It's a sticky situation for Blood Eyes to be in because you can't be the one chasing down. Like you can't really resort to the full screen game when you've got this much of a health deficit and the round deficit at that. Val playing patiently and knowing his spacing. Just doesn't need to overcommit to anything, doesn't need to do anything risky, playing as simply as he can and making Blood Eyes chase him down.
Ooh! Okay, now, look, this is going to be the start of what needs to be a rather significant comeback, but it's going to be a big chunk of damage, potential momentum, and Frost, she doesn't exactly tickle when it comes to damage output, just the corner positioning. This is possible, but it's going to be hard. Oh,
and the 4-4s. The one to rule them all. 4-4 up 3. Right there. Destructive. Yeah. And, it's really just... I love the adaptation that we saw from Val in that game, to be honest. He knew that Blood Eyes was jumping a lot at him. He knew that Blood Eyes was playing a certain way. So instead he slowed it down entirely. He said to himself, okay, look, if you're going to jump at me, I'm just going to keep low. Like, Frost has a good jump kick. I think that's something that we can mostly agree on, is that Frost has a very good jump kick. But in the realm of low profiling anti-airs with pokes, obviously Frost has one of her own with down 3. It becomes that much harder to establish anything because he was getting so much mileage off of that, and Val started shutting that down straight away and threw him into a difficult scenario. But the switch to Rain, we know that Blood Eyes plays a very good Rain as well. It's cool to actually see it as he's now down in his last tournament life over here. He's going to have to win the set this way.
Now, here's what I'm interested with. So we have the Quantum Slice, the Edenian Force, and then Hydro Boost. So this is a variation of the game I'm not really used to seeing with Rain. Rain has a lot of different moves, but a lot of Rain players don't really tend to gravitate towards them. So I'm curious to see how this Rain is going to be put forward in this matchup, because there is one thing, that movement, he needs to be point blank all game long, because Rain will get zoned out a little bit, especially by Sindel, that low scream, mother scream. But clearly, putting that forward movement into immediate practice to say, I'm going to rush you down because I'm Rain. Oh, and this is where things get tricky. The jump in Edenian Force, that's good. Oh, no, not Edenian Force, sorry. Being able to do those moves in the air, my bad.
Quantum Slice. Right? Yeah. I think, or it's super sick visual move though. Right now Val is working with a big health lead. Blood Eyes has the fatal blow, but he's gonna struggle to find this opening hit, and this can find something good, but a clean anti-air right there from Val. These low pokes into the hair whip have been doing wonders and ending in the air scream.
I'll tell you what though, Falcon, the longer things are going on here, the less useful. Oh god. Val doesn't have any meter, but this is still gonna hurt anyway. All things considered, 33% for just catching the scream. I was going to say that the longer we're starting to see Rain played in tournaments, the less useful Hydro Boost is starting to become, because so many people, you just get to anti-air him so easily, unless he does jump 3. And even then, you can anti-air the jump 3. It depends on your character.
Quite
It's
easy
not
to
an
flawless
easy
block
task.
as well. It's a
Yes.
very risky thing to do quite a lot. You know, it's very much a confirmable special rather than an enforcing pressure one, as it's riddled with gaps and exploits. But right now, Val is in the driver's seat to advance on in this top 8 bracket. Right now, Blood Eyes with one last chance as he is on his final bit of life.
All right, hang on. Fatal Blow is ready. And Blood Eyes has to be so careful here. Cannot afford the air Banshee dash to connect. And that was just, I think, oh! Normally, Rain does that to other people with his forward 2 KB. But that's going to be the win now for Val. And I got to say, incredibly valiant effort, you know, changing out to the Rain. But Val just continued to play well, and instantly displayed the matchup knowledge, right? Just blocks the Hydro Boost. Sindel's down for anti-air. I mean, I can imagine that's quite a good anti-air against that move anyway. And just like that, Blood Eyes out at 4th place, but a good finish, a strong finish.
Very respectable placing, and I'm sure that we're going to be seeing more of him in the future. You know, this is definitely not the end of the road of someone that you can tell has honed their craft this much up until this point. But yeah, Val showing just incredible consistency that we've been seeing from them for quite a while now, and displaying kind of just very good mid-set and rapid adaptations and applications of simple tools with Sindel. But that is pretty much that for the sets. Now, we do have one other thing. If you'd like to fill in the viewers at home a little bit more about some merch that they can get their hands on, catch up.
Yes. As part of the Pro Competition, there is a official merch line that you can find on Amazon.com. You can find the link up top there, /Mortal Kombat, and they're rather customizable. So if you want to represent, you know, your region, Liga Latina, North America, Intercontinental, with any of these custom designs that you see here, and there's a lot more on the website, let me tell you, you can get involved. Support the Pro Competition, support Mortal Kombat, and be more of a part of the team with this line of merchandise. But that does mean that we've finished our last few matches. We're now going to be finishing up this tournament after a quick break. When we come back, it's going to be Losers Finals, then Grand Finals, and that'll be the end of EU East. Short break, and then we'll start the entirety of EU West. So thanks for watching so far. When we're back, Pro Competition Intercontinental will be back alongside it.
Jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
PlayStation. Looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the 4th dimension, trap P is high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. We're real life manipulators, get it back up and see you later. I like me for me, I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me, I am who I wanna be. Na, 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 na. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. I like me for me, I'ma be what I'ma be. Prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself. I like me for me.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series. Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app, filter by type, and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournaments menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play. Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time. A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match. Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
PlayStation. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine. End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.
Hi everyone, welcome back. You're watching our latest episode of the Intercontinental Combat EU East, where we're having our top 3. Losers Finals is up next, which is going to be Val versus Desarted, and then after that, the Grand Finals of K-Top versus whoever wins this next series. My name's Ketchup, joined by Mustard, and the way that Pro Comp has gone so far, across all regions, it has actually been a rather mixed bag of results, whether it's players in the top 8, the kind of more top-heavy side of the top 8, and this is kind of continuing to be that, I think, because we have Desarted, who's continuing to demonstrate the Shang prowess, we have Val here again, and K-Top, first time in Winner's Side Grand Finals here.
I do feel like EU East is thoroughly unpredictable. I want to give a huge shout outs to Blood Eyes. We did see get 4th place today with that Frost, which is always really impressive. She's definitely a character we don't see too much, but that's kind of my point. We see a lot of unpredictable stuff in the EU East. Today we've got K-Top, Winner's Side Grand Finals, Val, who had a bit of a rough time in the second cup for EU, now sitting in Losers Finals again against Desarted. These are 2 players that have thoroughly taken Open Series with 2 hands, and now we're seeing that come through more in Pro Competition as well, as we do have that kind of double barrel PS4 tournaments thing right now. Pro Competition for the official World Championships, Open Series for the weekly practice. It's been great to see these kind of players really thrive in that environment. Desarted especially. Desarted is forever one of our main examples of that. But, lost a narrow nail-biter of a Game 5 Winners Finals against K-Top, so he's going to be hungry for that run back. Because you have to remember, for Pro Competition, this is a point system. The better you place in Pro Competition events, the more points you earn, and at the end of the season, the top point earners are invited back to the regional finals. So the more work you do now, early in the season, the less you have to work later down the line, to kind of scramble for points at the end. So you're looking for a lot of a comfort zone, the better you can do now.
Now, we'll see what this matchup shapes up to be, because again, it's the nature of Desarted. You think you know Shang Tsung, and then you watch Desarted play, and it's a completely different world. So heavily focused on those morphs, using different morphs for different matchups, and Val, really using whatever moves are appropriate for the matchup. I say the term Sindel Master for good reason, as one of the best Sindels in the business.
But it's so hard to even predict what moves Val is taking, because Val does have a ton of variations we've seen over time, right? Today it's been more of like a, Actually, no, I was about to say today it's been 1 of 2, but that isn't even true. We've already seen 3 from Val alone today. And this is just in the top 8. This is just a couple of matches.
We've seen the Bellowing Banshee, which is a move that I've not seen any Sindels use, to be honest.
And it was a move that actually had a big contribution as well, right? Like, it was a big deal. Still, though, Desarted. The Shang. I hope you're careful, though. This health Ermac lift will guarantee Fatal Blow.
Yeah, with Sindel knows more about that as well. 1 counter hit Scream. Not that we're going to be able to really see it now, because the bar of amp was spent. Oh, they're both so weak. The chip of the forward falls goes the flawless block, but never mind. The wake up roll, the straight skull's not going to be enough. And the low star screamer coming out to take the first round. Val with the perfect call out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of special counter pokes coming out of Desarted there. I think maybe expecting Val to preemptively try and take that turn back at the end. You go for plus frames? No! And Val, a player really known for that flawless block ability, so Desarted going to be playing around that big time with that forward 2.
Jump 3 as well. Down 1 to Battle of Pokes. Really wants to keep forcing his turn back into the fray. Especially when you're in the corner, right? That Ermac lives corner damage is so good. Looks for the forward 2, wake up 3 to steal the turn. Delayed forward 4. Really wants you to think that grab is coming, but not quite. The back 1. I am shocked he didn't go for the mix-up off that back 1. That's normally the Desarted special.
But maybe he just wants to play it a bit safer, because there's one character you don't want to give a full punishable opportunity. It's like Sindel. The Fatal Blow, least of all. Oh, big duck, but just, yeah, ever so slightly far away for that with punish in time. Decide. Getting a good side switch with the slide at the end, though. Could be worse.
That preemptive.
Oh, down 4. That is so good.
When Sindel's down 4 is anti-airing Shang's jump 3, you know it's good. One of the most un-anti-airable buttons in the whole game. And Sindel able to find a way to pick up Ermac lift coming in hot, and now a down 2 that you cannot challenge, so Val, quite rightly so, isn't going to bother. Charge Scream. Hard to say who's got advantage here so far, because although Decide has a life lead, all Val need to do 1 KB Scream and we're going to equalize, and then some, probably. adding a lot of meter.
That will be a lead for sure. Valve can find it! That actually didn't even put the bar either, so this is like purely meaningless so far. There's one bar. Chunky. Misses the end, only does 400 damage. What a shame, only does 400.
The problem with dropping the ender wasn't even the fact that there was damage on the table, it was the fact that he was punishable, but never mind. The side switching grab coming out then, one grab away. Oh, sure,
that was
you forget
long
how
range.
far that goes.
I think Sindel's short hop punch might actually be the longest range short hop attack in the game. I do think
Maybe.
it's like not even close. Well, Val though taking that first game. We have to remind ourselves Val was the first winner of Intercontinental Combat East, you know, for EU East. In the very first, well, I'd say week 1, but it kind of wasn't, because, you know, those of you that watch pro competition, you know, it kind of rotates. 1 week it's EU and Intercontinental, then it's Liga Latina, then it's North America, and so on. So when I say week 1, you know, it could have been like week 3 of it, but you know what I mean. The first time we saw Europe on Pro Comp this season, Val was the winner, and Val is progressively getting better and better the more we see him play. And again, it is that thorough just exploration of Sindel's options. Still, though, that was a close game. I think even though we only have 2 sets left, we definitely could have 2 nail biters in our hands, because we have players. You know, the 3 players left there. They are very familiar with each other, especially Val.
I always keep, and this is one thing I really like, when we see a bunch of players in open series regularly like Val, that's how we first knew of Val before pro competition even started. Months and months and months of being successful in open series against, you know, EU and CIS and stuff like that. I really like reading the chat in between matches and seeing people see these players for the first time that might not have watched open series. Talking about Val, like, I've never seen a Sindel like this. Well, welcome. Welcome. I mean,
it is something that I feel like we take for granted sometimes, you know, like the 2 of us, we've been commentating MK, you know, with PS4 tournaments for every single week for the past like 8 months. So these players we've seen over and over and over again. We're used to seeing them do these crazy sick things, and it's like, yep, just another day in the office. But you forget just how impressive it really can be, especially for someone like Val. Still, though, Desarted on the other hand, everything we're saying about the Sindel, you could say about the Shang for Desarted. The knowledge. Oh, hang on a minute.
Now, he has no meter to extend, so he has to keep this one. He's had a bit of difficulty with this combo, actually. Val, he's been dropping it a little bit. Now, the Fatal Blow's ready for both players. That combo wouldn't have killed, and no doubt he would not have spent the Fatal Blow anyway, but... Oh, judo trip. Whiff punish.
Whiff punish. Cartwheel. Forward 4, always going to be able to squeeze that in somewhere.
Whoa! Whiff punish on the hair whip like it's MK9.
I always forget just how much damage hair whip does by itself. Yo, armor break. Oh, this is looking like a complete wash. Val is just storming ahead. Good shake. Started still ready with the actions. But where next? Fatal Blow is ready. We have seen that as long as you've got lift, that's a lot of damage you can get guaranteed. Oh, speaking of which, we're going to see it now. We are. Right, okay, this is 100% guaranteed, which is why we didn't see Val break. Normally, under any circumstance, you would break early if they have to make a comeback, so they have to do more work. In this case, the Fatal Blow is guaranteed. Breaking away would simply make you take more damage. Now you notice Val still has breakaway. Now we'll see it. But look at this, a 3-touch comeback? No. Good luck.
The grab!
No, that was such a bold universal grab.
It's going to send far away, though. Watch out for the smoke shake. Oh, it's a straight skull anyway now. Able to make a comeback is Desarted. Going to be shaping up pretty nicely after that one. It was looking so much like a 2-0, but we could very well be a 1 game each. Counter hit. No, never mind. Who cares? Corner launch, more damage.
Yeah, if you have him in the corner, no reason to spend that KB. You just want the damage. Yeah, much more. Especially if there's no breakaway.
Another pickup there coming out from Val. Looking for that range to scream. And speaking of which, the trade.
Oh, nice preemptive pokes. Yeah. Desarted just trying to occupy that space so he doesn't have to worry about the cartwheel. But another down 4 ant. Yeah, Val.
No meter to amplify. No full combo to be had right there. I didn't really get to touch on it earlier, but the Sindel, that kind of Banshee dash option selector, if you amplify it on hit, it comes out, and on block, nothing happens. There's a reason every time, no matter how late it lands, Val always teleports, because he's buffering it just in case. Really important Sindel tech. If you do use that move and you're not doing it, you should. Right, right, down one. Corner pressure. The block of the 1-1s all the way through. Val just needs one clean opening, especially after this grab. Going for the less likely tech as well, the forward throw. But now, with the fatal blow ready to go, is it going to be a 1-1 or a 2-0? Oh, dear. Oh, what?
Oh, my goodness. It was going to boil down to something like that. I could feel it. Val has used that overhead sparingly today. I mean, normally, I feel like Sindel, one of those characters that has a lot of versatility within her base kit, right? And a big part of it is that built-in, the long-range overhead on the forward 2, the low blast, the retreating low blast. A lot of Sindel players can have a tendency to just really use nothing but those, but not Val. Val will pull them out when it's the most appropriate. And right there, when you've got one hit away from that confirm, best time to do it. That's
So
actually
just
going to
like
be 2-0,
that.
believe it or not. Yeah, 2-0 already in this losers finals.
That was so close as well. It really was. In those final moments, the Sindel, the forward 2 from far range, is so good at catching you off guard.
Well, I mean, it's the unfortunate kind of set if you're Deserted, right? Because these have actually genuinely been 2 close matches, but it's still resulted in a 2-0. So you're really having to fight tooth and nail, and the games are going down that close, but you've lost them both. So even though the matches have been super competitive, the scoreline is still showing that you have a ton of work to do, and he is not going to be comfortable with that circumstance, because we know Deserted. He's been here before. He is one of the people that we have seen in this part of the world do more reverse 3-0s than almost anyone else in online tournaments. But maybe not quite in this instance. But have to see.
And now,
right there, the fact that the fact that we're seeing Deserted go for this, actually still hitting jump kicks, and we're not seeing the lift from them, I feel like Deserted isn't quite bringing in the same level of confidence. Another miss. Unless, I mean, maybe he doesn't have the lift. Does he swap variations? It doesn't look like it.
I don't know. It looks like the exact same cosmetics to me. The neutral duck on the advancing high. Oh, there's the back 2 Val's looking really good so far. Looking for the trip guard. The empty jump down 1 getting punished by the dashing grabs. There's not even a tech possible. And oh my good lord, Deserted looking a little bit checked out in this round. Nothing has worked, and Val has just been making the right plays. Just letting Deserted swing. Trip guards him, grabs him, whatever. Val's the comfortable one. Forward grab, no, reverse grab, never mind.
No, we are talking about how much of a lead Val has, but are we talking too early? Chip will be a problem at this point. The Banshee underneath the down 4, but a crucial breakaway. Val given another chance. Doesn't finish. There we go.
Chip.
Oh, trade. That was sick.
Send Shang Tsung into space.
Fight.
Match point now for Val.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have predicted a 3-0. Yeah, I know. We're commentating with a little bit of delay, and we're saying the exact same thing. That's how similar the situation is. Oh, full combo mustard. Full combo incoming and no breaker. No Deserted.
But another drop. No, it's like you said. Yeah, Val, whenever it comes to that forward to the down 1 hair, he always seems to be missing the down 1 hair today. But look, he does all the damage first anyway, so it's not too bad.
Down 2. That nice little chunky damage ender. I saw someone mention earlier. Oh dear. I saw someone mention earlier on. I can't believe Goro's not in this game. Look no further. There he is. He is in this game.
That's not what they mean, and you know it.
No, it's exactly what they mean. Clearly, they just haven't seen him.
His presence in the game is acknowledged.
Absolutely. He's having a rocket out. Best seat in the house for this close end to this match. On the verge of a 3-0. Oh! But Deserted just needs 1 or 2 good projectiles.
Oh, good block. Good block on the overhead this time. Val again is really known for those preemptive buttons from Val. And again, another good block. Oh! Oh! And it came down to a jump kick that was almost... I would bet money that Val tried to flawless block that. Because that wasn't even a count hit, that just connected.
I think it was a wake-up roll. It kind of looked like Val did wake-up stance change. Either way.
That what? No! Oh my god, did you see that? Whiff down 2 into down 2 KB.
Yes, I did.
Down 2 after. Decide to press one button and look at the life. Down 2, right. Oh no.
Mad lad. I've never seen a double down 2 like that before. I'm going to be honest. It's a
but I have seen that.
plenty of times, Mustard. Full combo. And now Val is not overcomplicating it either.
Cut it short. Oh, what happened in this round? I feel like Decide had a huge lead and now he doesn't. Oh, no.
No.
Val finding the forward 4 at the best possible moment. And that was definitely an explosive 3-0. That, to be honest, I was not expecting that scoreline, but the matches themselves were not too surprising. Oh, okay, we heard the delay and then we hear the stream. That actually made me jump. Yeah. I don't know if the stream heard that, but we just heard the friendship at the last minute. But regardless, that was a really good set of games from Val. You know, Decided definitely one of the more fearsome opponents in Pro Comp for EU East. 3-0, great score. And even the last match itself Decided with quite the comeback in the first round to get that round on the board. And then to start off the next with, again, that whiffed down 2 into another down 2, that then crushing blow. Like, that's the kind of thing that if you get hit by, it's like, it's tilt town. Like, you will get hit by that and you'll reel back in your chair. You'll like put one hand on your knee. It'll be like, oh, you'll touch, be like the loudest, like, can't believe it. Like, you're going to do one of those things. I guarantee you. Which one Val did? Who knows? We'll never know. What we do know is that Val is now grand finals secured on the loser side, which does guarantee a fresh set today. We are yet to see K-Top versus Val in this tournament. So it's going to be an interesting clash, to say the least. But one that I'm excited to see. I really do feel like Russia has had a bit of a grasp on EU East up until now. You know, we do know that Russian players do make up the majority of the brackets, and Russia is such a strong scene in general in MK that it's fair to assume that Russia is going to continue to perform well here. But here we are, K-Top of Greece in grand finals, winner side. But while we do wait for this match to get underway and they get into the lobby catch up, take us around Astro Gaming.
Thank you very much to Astro Gaming, which is the official audio partner of the MK11 Pro Competition. All of our cast audio is powered by Astro for the entirety of the season, which is what we're wearing on camera as we speak. You can visit astrogaming.com. You can find out all information about their PlayStation audio products that are all available now. And got to say, we're in good form now going into this grand finals. And K-Top, going for a bit of a change, actually. Haven't seen his Fujin in quite some time. Now, for those that don't know, I know that we are live often, not only on NetherRealm channels, but PlayStation channels, the double elimination grand finals. This basically means that K-Top being on the winner's side, this 3 out of 5, if he wins that, it's over. If Val wins this 3 out of 5, he'll reset the bracket, essentially putting K-Top into the loser's bracket to join him, and then we play again. So basically, K-Top wins this, it's over. Val has to win twice.
Now, if we are seeing K-Top deviate away from the Jackie, I am not surprised. I am not surprised that this is the matchup that we're seeing. Because Jackie versus Sindel is a matchup that we have seen the Russian Sindel players are incredibly good at. Especially if you've got that air Banshee. Any character with incredible air mobility options, the Banshee is just such an obstacle for them to deal with. K-Top, we haven't seen his Fujin in quite some time, but we have no reason to think it's anything less than impressive.
But we saw that immediate preemptive Banshee dash, which shut down that Skywalker. Oh, and the bellowing Banshee, in fact. There's the air-to-air. Now, this Fujin, I don't know if it's going to work, you know.
So, everything you would pick Jackie away from for the super jump being punished by the air Banshee, Skywalk kind of has the same problem. So if K-Top is picking Fujin here, he's going to have to watch out for the Skywalker neutral. Because that is what Val is going to be prepared for the most.
Keeping things a little bit safer, if possible. Oh, the needle doesn't quite hit its mark. Uh-oh, escape failed against Sindel. You know what that means? Don't get grabbed. Oh, the trip. An air-to-air, but that's not really going to do much. Val's in great form and again. Oh. Oh, what? The short.
I mean, Val just looks really comfortable with just the standard Fujin-based offense. Like, not pressing preemptively, blocking the options of Skywalk, calling out the needle, like, not getting caught out by pretty much anything here. Nice anti-air, and that is going to be game number 1 of 6 that Val is going to need. But that was done swiftly, yes.
Now, okay, so let's look at as well the fact that Sindel's forward 4 becomes just impeccably more dangerous the second you get escape failed. He had escape failed. Sindel gets a crushing blow throw on both of her grabs, and he didn't do a single one. because he wanted to make the forward 4 harder to deal with.
It is though the day one efficient play. If you have a strike throw mix up of, get a poke on hit, and it's a mix up of grab or button, if it's a mid, even better. If it's unreactable, even better. If you've got a crushing blow throw, that automatically makes throw more attractive in a strike throw situation. And that is a situation you'll find yourself in quite a lot.
So
and then that's where you're going to get mid after mid.
Cetrion. I haven't actually seen K-Top play this character before, but think about this variation. It's not very complicated. So if you are a talented player, fundamentally, you can probably learn it. Earthquake, winds, teleport.
We have mentioned this before, though, because this is not the first time that K-Top has picked away from a very aggressive character for something that is a bit more distance-oriented. We know that Cetrion is, she's definitely quite the brawler with the tornado, but she has got that full-screen game, and it is something that we've seen give Sindel quite a hard time in the past. Now, K-Top as a player, in MKX, we historically saw him as mainly just a rush-down monster without a lot of patience. And in Justice 2, he mained Starfire, and he played for that distance game. So Injustice 2 really taught K-Top the beauty of keep away. And I think MK11, we're seeing a nice hybrid of both. But right now, is it enough? Because he's going to the Cetrion, that could be quite a new pickup versus Val's day one. I mean, day one Sindel, I know she's DLC, but you know what I mean. He's got that playtime.
And looking as comfortable as ever right now. Kind of looks like K-Top can pick any top tier that he wants, and Sindel, too bad you will die.
I mean, he's gonna. I don't think he survives this.
Will.
Gets the combo this time.
I don't know if he's going to stick with Cetrion, I don't see it. Maybe Jade, perhaps. We'll see if this round goes better, but right now it's a bit of a disaster for the Greek lad, isn't it? Oh, no.
But even then, Val is doing such a good job of just not leaving himself in a punishable state. He's safe but minus at worst. Everything he's doing is so difficult to get a turn back guaranteed, and another hit misses the ender. Who cares? Look at the life difference. Ow! Overhead, and this 2-0 has happened in the blink of an eye, and Val is already a single game away from a full bracket reset. This might be the quickest reset I've seen in an MK11 bracket, online at least.
Well, we'll have to see what happens from here. I don't know if the Cetrion's going to stay there, Mustard. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, the thing is, K-Top does have games to work with. The beauty of being in the winner's side of Grand Finals is you can have a bad set to start, and obviously you lose the safety net, but it's a safety net that no one else in the tournament has. So if things go rough here and he doesn't, okay, now he's going to Jackie. I like the choice to go to Jackie now, because if he was hesitant about using Jackie at the start of Grand Finals, but ended up, for example, if he takes a couple of matches here and then loses, he'll know, okay, right, Jackie is going to be the right one. Because if he didn't play Jackie here for reasons, maybe thinking it's not right for the matchup, maybe he thinks that because Val clearly has that air Banshee on lock for the air mobility. But he has the least to lose here. Because if he was going to expect to lose this match with Jackie anyway, if he does it here, he was going to lose regardless. So then he gets a reset, then he gets to reassess, who do I play, who do I use. But if he didn't play Jackie here, got reset, and then played Jackie after the reset, and then lost with her, he's then doing so from the back foot, and that's not what you want. But look, it's Val, his screen control. Air Banshee for the air, down 4 for when you're jumping. He just has total lockdown of your mobility options.
Oh my god. For such an incredible button as well. Putting in the work here in what could be the final game before the reset. And like you quite rightly said, probably the fastest reset we've ever had in an online PS4 tournament, to be honest with you. Because right now, Val, in good form, the Fatal Blow is ready, but Val doesn't want it because that is why. Fatal Blow on.
That is definitely going to take the round, of course. We expected that much. But again, not looking 100% clean as K-Top. I think K-Top has looked incredible this entire tournament. But things are falling apart a little bit for him somewhat in the set. We're seeing a few drops, some missed opportunities. And again, Val, when Val gets that defense up. Oh, tries to wake him up too. And that's going to get chewed up.
All right, so the change to Jackie has definitely been a lot more beneficial. I think K-Top might have been a bit concerned about that screen and space control. But with the escape failed, hang on a minute. This is either going to be a ticket into the round or a ticket into the game, depending. See if he gets a tech or not, but Ooh, look at the quick punish. Too far away, though. No punish to be had, except for the KB grab, which is exactly what you want. Now, Val, almost able to bring this one back. The dash in forward 4. Good forward movement, too, from Val. Got to be said.
Ooh, tries to Anya, but one bar, KB ender. You have to be careful with your K-top blow, because one... Oh, there it is! Ah, yep, that's it. I respect that fatal blow from Val. Because the second the grenade is under you, how likely is it that it's going to be followed with like some kind of button into grease kick or whatever, just to plow through what life is left. But okay, now this is case in point why I'm happy that K-top has gone to Jackie. Now he's down 2-0. Because there must be a reason that he didn't start with Jackie. I could only assume he didn't like the matchup, or maybe they've played before and he knows that Val is... Because Val is definitely one of the best at just the air Banshee utilization. And that's a big part of just dealing with super jump or airborne mobility neutral. And that is a big part of K-Top's plan of Jackie, right? So to go here and win a game, even if K-Top loses this and still gets the bracket reset, he's won a game here. So he knows it's possible. So the reset could be more competitive if we see it. But, you know, that's only if we get to that point, because K-Top is definitely capable of bringing this one back. But Val, you know, quite the opponent. Even though Val's on the loser's side, still feels like Val has the momentum here.
Important information to know that the Jackie can work, even if there is this reset. If the reset happens, I think it's probably going to be Jackie all the way. You know, none of the other picks have worked out so well. I'm still kind of interested by this Bellowing Banshee pick. It's just a move that you can see the utility of it, you know, for just having that cheeky extra option off a jump in when Sindel's jumping game is already pretty damn strong in the first place. Oh, but jumping clean over it is K-Top. That's going to be a nice little chunk of damage, 30%, but swiftly returned by Val, who gets another just insane down 4. That down 4 anti-air, we all knew it was a good anti-air, but I didn't realize it was quite this good. The second I saw anti-air Shang Tsung's jump 3, I'm like, oh.
Well, I think a big part, it sounds like such a basic thing, but oh no, there's another grenade. I feel like a big part of it is a lot of Sindel players are looking for, because a lot of those amazing single button like poke anti-airs, they're good for like, you hit the poke and then you hit a follow-up button for more damage. Sindel doesn't really recover fast enough to do that. She has to just special cancel it raw, which is a bit counterintuitive. K-Top though, taken around, and a huge part of K-Top's damage is coming from lobbing grenades down right as Val is about to anti-air. You know, we see Jackie do that a lot with the upgraded effect, but oh my goodness. In this kind of matchup, when Val is getting so much damage off the anti-airs, it's so important to really...
That was a really good wake up too. Oh! Wow, caught the dash punch right there, and the overhead as well. Val, whoa! Taking out that standing 4 out of nowhere. The Bellowing Banshee again just to get some extra damage and the pushback to a safer range. And at this point, it will be good for Val to be on a reset point. Right, Val wins this round. We go into a fresh 3 out of 5.
Final round.
A lot is riding on this round for K-Top.
No whiff punish on the grab though. Oh, but we'll get a grenade. Second bar spent too. Chunky damage corner as well. And again, even without the bar, even without the bar, it's you think they're gonna anti-air, you do the grenade and that's it. And that's the game. That's it, it's over. My goodness.
Right, final game pre-reset. So this is either going to be 1 game away from the tournament being over, and we say thank you, see you later, and we'll be back with EU West in a bit, or we're only just getting started, and the first half will conclude. So there's a lot riding on this next match, folks. Let us know in chat who you want to win, by all means.
Well,
hashtag PS4 tournaments, hashtag MK Ultimate. Let us know.
Problem is, though, if you are K-Top, you're probably thinking to yourself, why didn't I just play Jackie from the start?
Oh, God, I'm wondering what the reason is that he didn't want to pick it.
No, I can only imagine that it must have been a matchup thing, because I know that Sindel isn't seen to be a hard counter to Jackie or anything, but Val plays Air Banshee Sindel a lot, and we have seen that be a very reliable answer against Jackie a lot in tournaments online, and Russian Sindels especially. However, the next layer to that is the anti-airs too, right? Sindel's down 4. But if there's one character in the game that can deter people from anti-airing, it is upgraded style Jackie. Because you have those air specials, the air shrapnel, hitting so low to the ground, grenade most of all. If you ever think they're going to anti-air your leap, you just do that and it will beat it.
Oh dear. full combo
And that's what we
incoming
see
here.
K-Top. Yeah, this is gonna hurt. Big start for Val. My goodness.
And I like the fact that Val often does really just save that first bar. Like, you could, in theory, spend both bars on that, but you're going to get a little bit of extra combo damage, but the utility of everything else is well worth the bar that you save. Ooh, this is looking like a swift
This is a
reset, the way
flawless.
things are going.
This is a flawless so far. Not even chip damage has been dealt. Yep, flawless victory. Is it? No, that had to be like. Wait, it was literally 999.10 out of 1,000. That was like a 10.
All right,
Hey.
hang on a minute. K-Top's fighting back now. At this point, the leap and the mid. Another full confirm here. A block on the forward 3. Up 3. Oh! Oh, God! Looks like K-Top's looking to return it just as dominantly. Maybe with that Downfall having other things to say about it, perhaps to jump in to grab. Can Val mix all the way into a bracket reset? Oh, no!
Counter hit. That's the round. Okay, it's the final point. This is either end of the tournament or bracket reset halfway mark. What's it going to be?
Fight.
Oh, instant
right.
air banshee. He knew the super jump was coming.
Beautiful air-to-air. The jump in. Looking to whiff punish, perhaps, in this case. The stagger again. Oh, he catches the button press. He knows you're going to press a button to challenge. And there's no break from Val holding all of this.
I mean,
The side twitch
Val has been going for that down 4 as the go-to defensive button for a long time, whether it's to interrupt staggers, to challenge plus frames. K-Top is definitely ready for it. Oh no! Catching the Banshee startup. Oh no! Big jump again, but airborne. And again, no! Another 2 bars! That might be it! I think that's it!
Oh, and K-Top Mustard. He's going to take the tournament. Winner's side, grand finals, prevents the reset, the change to Jackie. Working out and giving K-Top, without question, his best tournament result to date in MK11. A year later as well, not too shabby for a guy that had to miss an entire year of competition.
No, I mean, I really to kind of emphasize on that point. I'm not sure if we've said it today on this broadcast, but K-Top
I have.
and his brother H-Tope, yeah, we have to, okay, you did say it, so we'll just quickly remind, came into the game a year late. Personal circumstances meant they straight up were not able to play for a year. And I don't mean like, a couple months. I mean straight up. MK11 Aftermath came out and then they started playing. Then they were able to play. So for K-Top to come into the game so late, and this is a story for any of those of you that maybe you haven't been playing since day one. Maybe you started playing their Ultimate or around Aftermath and you're looking to get involved. K-Top is the best example of why, better late than never, because here he is, pro competition on the NetherRealm Twitch, the official online world championships. And he has secured first place, taking out some of the very, very best that Europe has to offer in the process. Well played all around. Huge congrats to K-Top. That's a good win for Greece. It's a good win for K-Top. And it's a good win for Mortal Kombat in the intercontinental realm. GG's.
It was a fun day. And this is only half of today's action, because after a bit of a break, we'll be jumping in and doing the EU West top 8. So I'm really excited to watch that one. But how is this all powered? How is this all put forward? PS4 tournaments, that's how. It's not just pro competition taking place. There is also the Open Series, which is weekly tournaments, weekly prize money, a monthly finals at the end of the month for even more prize money on top of that. And basically, look, if you're a competitive Mortal Kombat player, no matter where you come from, go to compete.playstation.com for information on both Open Series and pro competition. It is truly a one-stop shop, and it's all done through the system. A very easy and self-explanatory process. But for now, and I say for now, because we're going to take a bit of a break, we're going to transfer over to the EU West top 8 and start the action all over again. So thank you so much for joining us for this. We'll be back in a little bit for more pro competition, intercontinental combat. Don't go anywhere. Have a snack, something to eat, whatever, and we'll be back with the West top 8.
Jokes, no gimmicks, just combat.
Looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension. Trapeze is high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. We're real life manipulators. Get it back up and see you later. I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Na 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 na. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself and nobody else. I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. Prove it to myself, I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself, I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself, I like nobody else. Gotta prove it to myself, I like me for me.
Hey guys, Ketchup and Mustard here, and it's time to test your might in the Mortal Kombat 11 Open Series.
Ready to rumble? Power on your PlayStation and head to the Events app.
Filter by type and select a convenient date and time. Boot up MK11 and locate the PS4 Tournaments menu option. Click it to visit a familiar place, the Console Events tab. Sign up and prepare to play.
Once registered, you can view your tournament details and check-in time.
A notification will remind you to tighten your black belt and get over here for your match.
Continue combat in the open qualifiers to close in on the competition.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the tournaments.
PlayStation. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Any ring I step into is mine. End of the line.
Then this fight is now personal.
It is exhausting being so perfect.